Greetings, Hearthstone travelers, and welcome to the Classic Hearthstone Discord's 7th monthly EU Championship Tournament. Today marks our largest tournament to date with 30 total entrants, almost a full 32-person bracket. We've got some returning champions here to pursue another crown, so the competition today promises to be stiff. My name's Opposition, your faithful host for this evening's Hearthstone matches. I'm joined today by our current reigning EU champion and community friend. Very special welcome, HDA. It's good to have you on the cast.
Thank you. What's going on, guys? HD here.
So, if this is your first time with us, I'd like to welcome you on behalf of our team and encourage you to join our Classic Hearthstone Discord community by clicking the link in the channel description. Today's participants will be competing for a slice of our $100 prize fund. First place will be taking home the lion's share with $75. Second place is worth $15. And third place, you can get a couple of coffees for $10. So, let's have a look at our bracket for this evening's event. We've got 30 players here registered. A couple of returning champions. We've got Haskanda and Petish coming in. We've also got a lot of other strong competitors, tournament veteran players, folks who have been on the podium a couple of times before. So some excellent matches lined up today in our EU tournament. The format for today's event is Conquest, meaning that players will bring 4 decks, one of which will be banned. Players will play a best of 5 with their remaining 3 decks, and every time they win a game, they cannot play that deck again, so have to have a strong lineup all around. All the matches that we're looking at today are single elimination. You lose 3, you're out. We'll be dropping in on matches as they're played for the first 3 rounds. The semifinals, finals, and third place match will all be played one at a time for your viewing pleasure. As always, the stream is delayed 5 minutes for fairness reasons. So, let's hop in. It's just about time to go. I'll pull up Hearthstone here and we'll see if anybody's gotten into their matches yet. Okay, so we've got Freaks. Let's hop in on Freaks and see how he's doing today.
Oh, wow. This had like dying opposition.
Oh my gosh. 10 HP against a hunter? I think I know how this goes. So let me get these deck lists up on the screen here so we can all watch together.
What secrets does he run?
Let's see. I have to pull up the decks here first. So we've got Freaks, and we've got Petrella playing Hunter. Okay, got those deck lists up. 6 HP, kind of a scary place to be as a handlock here. Healing up a little bit with this Earthen Ring Farseer. And, ooh, I see a Reckless Rocketeer in here, too. That's sassy.
I mean, if the hunter doesn't have a kill command, I think the handlock wins here, maybe.
Yeah. Would have liked to have been able to faceless one of these taunts, but there we go. A second Molten Giant off the top. That's looking good.
Yeah, you're setting up a 2-turn here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 22 HP is not that much when giants are hitting the board.
I like the trade. You can actually not trade there if you don't have 2-turn, but because you have 2-turn lethal, I think the trade's like really makes a lot of sense there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it looks like, ooh, with the swing on the Earthen Ring.
I mean, I don't know. If the hunter trades in the golem, it's not dead. I don't know. Those.
Exactly.
And the handlock's hand is actually dead, so I mean the hunter could have won there maybe.
Yeah. No, you know, unless I don't think that Freaks would want to tap there to try and find something like Soulfire or anything like that. But yeah, looks like game 1 going to Freaks there with the handlock. Maybe a potential misplay.
Yeah, little questionable line there in the end. Maybe it happens sometimes, right? You're like, oh, I lost, and you just stop thinking.
Right.
And I think that's one of those moments where you just didn't like think, just like did something.
Exactly. Exactly. It can be stressful in a tournament context, trying to, the first round nerves and everything, especially when you're going up against a very strong player. But that said, players have their time to think on these games as well. There's no, no need to rush into making decisions here. So, um, a little surprised that the Arcane Golem didn't trade in there. But let's see how they handle it the second time around. Look at these deck lists up here. Alright, so we got Freakspring and his Druid this time around. He's got the thing that we all like to see, Wild Growth on turn 2.
Dude's like a really favorite freeze mage.
Yeah, explain that a little bit to us.
It's a very interesting matchup. Like, if you don't want to play the lore, you will like heal with that. But like now you have a dead hand. It's like what I would do is I would force Fear into Inuit lore. I know you burn or you're healing, but if you can like perma pressure, it's usually fine.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
generally, if you have like if you draw like a 5-drop, I would definitely keep like lore for healing. But if you have nothing to do, you gotta go for the pressure. And obviously, the silence is really good because Doom clears the card, so you can't really throw that to your face.
Yeah, harder to drop like Frost Nova Doomsayer against
Uh,
um,
yeah,
against Druid just because of that Keeper of the Grove.
like it's actually a really interesting turn. I think I will lore. It's a little crazy to pass here.
Would you take cards? Well, I guess you have to take cards with it here. Is there
Yeah,
ever a situation in which you want to save that lore for healing, or is it just worth the tempo on the board?
it's definitely reasonable to like hero power pass here, but like the thing is, I don't know. If you're not dead, he's actually gonna do it, isn't it? Oh, okay. The thing is, the mage on turn 3, right? Like, and we have Wild Growth, we have Innovate. I'm pretty sure we can just tempo to the point where like the mage won't even be able to play Alex Ross this game.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure you have enough tempo to just yeah.
Yeah, I mean, part of, playing these big minions too for Druid is twofold. You can soak up a lot of the burn spells that they're intending to use, right? Is that they don't want to be throwing all of their fireballs and stuff away on your minions. But also, when they have to remove stuff, they also don't get a chance to draw on their turn. And Freeze Mage is a deck that absolutely needs to be drawing.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I get Fireball clear the rag here. Yeah.
Yeah, Rag's kind of an annoying card for Freeze Mage, isn't it?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, we have to Lord draw here.
Yeah, I think so. Drawing into Sen'jin and a second Keeper of the Grove. Keeper of the Grove, now having two in hand, it's possible to silence an Acolyte, silence a Loot Hoarders. Well, two Hoarders already out, but technically possible to do that.
Right, so Flame Strike's a card. So one place like silence the Acolyte trades 3-1 it face. Turn on Flame Strike.
I like that idea.
Mm,
Mage is stuck with
I,
7 mana here, right? So no ability to ping on top of a Flame Strike. They could prep it with a Blizzard, but even then, they just, they're going to be freezing 2 minions, 3 minions.
but you push 18, you put him what? You put him at 18, put him at 16. If he Flame Strike, was still. Oh, it's not Ice Block, yeah. But if that's Ice Block, you actually felt lethal if you double face there, right? Against Flame Strike, so.
Mhm.
I don't know. Both reasonable plays. I definitely think Burning One Silence here is fine.
Maybe even going with an aggressive line here. contemplate. Looks like he's contemplating Druid of the Claw. Okay, gonna silence that Acolyte.
I hope you like my invention.
Alright.
So one interesting thing you can do this matchup, like I know the Ragnaros is gone, so it doesn't make sense anymore. But you can silence your frozen minions to kill Doomsayer.
Yeah.
So your Ragnaros can't hit the Doomsayer later on.
Yeah, that's a very good point in an interaction that I'm not sure all players know about, but absolutely you can silence your own minions that are frozen, and it removes all the text from them. It'll silence, like, you know, your own taunts or death rattles and stuff too, but being able to silence your minions and swing for lethal, and like you pointed out, Ragnaros especially, having that 8 damage, being able to just walk in your face.
Yeah, no, like what I meant is like you can like let's say you can silence your lore here, and you can like train into Doomsayer Wrath. If you have a Doomsayer in hand, right? No, if you have a Ragnaros in hand, right? Because then the Ragnaros can't hit the 07, if that makes sense.
Right.
Obviously, in this scenario doesn't make sense because the Ragnaros is gone and there's like a bunch of other minions, but it's definitely sometimes like correct to do.
Now, if we play Keeper and silence this Doomsayer, are we playing Druid of the Claw with charge here? I'm just gonna hero power down the Novice Engineer, huh?
Yeah, it's better to Flame Strike, right? Seems good.
Right.
We really don't need to develop anything here. If the board does get frozen, we kill him, right? So
Right.
I think this is like a situation where you just want to armor up every turn because you have enough pressure to proc them if you don't get frozen, right? Just want to get the armor in. The mage can't Alex us because he dies for Alex us, so I don't see mage winning in this position, sadly.
And playing the Wrath for the draw is, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, look for healing, right? Why not?
Sure.
Just like armor up, look for healing. There's not
Yeah.
much mage can really do.
Yeah, and you know, a little minor note here, as we're playing the Druid, is being able to armor up means that when Alex hits, we have greater than 15 HP, which means that we don't necessarily just die to Fireball, Frostbolt, or similar combos that could kill us. So, you know, every little HP does count here, and being able to put that armor on that's independent of our health pool is important. Alright, well, a chance to pop the block here. How do we go about doing that? Should we use Swipe, Druid of the Claw, save Force of Nature, Savage Roar? What are you thinking?
Right, I don't know. It shouldn't matter, to be honest. I don't see what the mage can. Like at the point where the mage can't Alex your face, it's like, what can the mage do, right?
Right.
It's not gonna burst 32 HP. I mean, probably Savage, right? But should do that. Yeah, you could just like swipe the minion here for face, yeah.
Yeah, I like that, leaving them at 1. Just like swipe hero power. And might use the Savage Roar. I might keep that in hand just because we've got Force of Nature. An ability to... I mean, if our board gets cleared, then they won't be able to Alex, so... Interesting. Going for the Roar here. Alright, and Freaks pops the block. And tough position, right? Flame Strike, it would need to be like exactly Flame Strike block, and Flame Strike block leaves, you know, just Druid hero power able to pop the block, and you know, where do we go from there?
From my perspective, I would like Flame Strike Barrier, right, and hope you don't die. And next turn you do like you can like Alex Trust your opponent's face, like Archmage block or something. I don't know, man. Like
Yeah, it's a really tough matchup for the Freeze Mage. And we can kind of see it highlighted here. Like, what do you do here? How do you know, how do you deal with these gigantic boards and at the same time still try and develop your own threats and burn their face? And Petrella offloading all of his burn, unfortunately doesn't have any way to stay alive there against the swipe. A couple of different ways to get in there. Druid of the Claw also, you know, Force of Nature, good finishers as well.
Yeah, I mean, they drew that silence with Doomsayer, right? Like, imagine you don't silence the Doomsayer, he gets a full clear, and then he gets initiative. Like,
Right.
there's definitely a big difference with the outcome of the game. Like, the free switch can definitely win.
Right, exactly.
That's oftentimes how the free switch win, right? Is they actually proc the Doomsayer. It's just really hard to do in that matchup.
Right.
Because like even without silence, you can still like swipe graph it. You can force nature hero power Doomsayer. Like you have a lot of clears Doomsayer.
Alright, that brings it to 2-0 so far for Freaks. And get my big ugly face off of here so we can see the folks playing. Okay, so we've got Freaks with the Paladin deck here. And this looks like a pretty aggressive list. Got a couple of Harvest Golems in there and Arcane Golems in the 3 slot. A couple copies of Avenging Wrath, a couple copies of Consecration. So cutting some of the earlier drops in favor of some of those powerful 4 slot cards.
This is the NA list, right?
It's
Like
close
the one,
to it. It's close to it. It's not quite at the NA list where there's 1 copy of Consecration, 1 copy of Avenging Wrath, no Harvest Golems.
This hero power is very slow.
It is. In some matchups like Warrior, we can get a lot of value out of the hero power, but really need to seize the board as soon as possible. Yeah.
Because the thing is, you're not gonna get abuse a certain target, are you? So it
Right.
doesn't. I'll see Wild Ghost, which is correct to do over here, Porter. What do you think about the one divine favor opposition?
Oh, you know, I would put 2 in there. That is such a core card to this deck. You don't need it until you do, and when you do need it, you really need it. So yeah, it's tough not having 2 copies in if you don't draw it and you run out of steam. And very hard to win a top deck war with this deck when you're drawing like Elven Archer and Argent Squire and stuff.
But it's definitely interesting deck building though. Like because you got like Harvest Golems, you got Arcane Golems, you got Blessing of Kings. Like you have more mid range to the deck, and like with all this mid range, you're hoping that you don't need like Divine Favor. It's actually like you don't play just 1 drops. But I mean this hand looks like a lot of 1 drops so sadly.
Yeah, and you know, it really I think a lot of the Paladin's strength in this matchup comes from these bubbles too. Being able to, you know, have minions constantly hitting that are unclearable by a single source of damage. And Starfall, you know, we don't see that too often. What's your opinion of Starfall and Druid, combo Druid?
It's okay. I mean, sometimes I play it, yeah, when it's like a lot of... It's good Sulak, right? So, I mean...
Does double the damage of swipe to the board, right?
It's basically a Holy Nova, right?
Yeah.
But it's like tiny bit worse, but it's basically Holy Nova. Yeah, sometimes run it, but rarely though. You can also run, if you struggle with Su and you play Druid, you can also play double Ancient War. Like I realized this recently, because like Sulak has no alt to Ancient War, right? There's no silence, there's no Hunter's Mark, there's no equality, like Su has no alt set, you just have to push with it on HP. And like playing a Subot makes like insanely good.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, it's sometimes a much more powerful board clear even than Starfall. Just being able to play that 10 HP that can clear a hell of a lot of minions, especially if they've already used some of their buff cards.
Like the thing is, a lot of the times they can actually get through one of them, no problem. Like they use their buffs, Then you played the second one, and then you saw the
Yeah.
buffs and lost more, and then you stuck it through that.
Yeah, it's like, if you have 2 Doom Guards and draw your Soulfires off the top, sure, but it's not too common.
Yeah. No, like the H to war, it's H to war, because pretty hard in that matchup
Yeah.
for sure. I think Silux is actually like the only matchup that doesn't have also H to war in the entire game.
Yeah. And there's a couple, a really nice juggle there on the Keeper of the Grove, making it a little bit more awkward for Petrella to clear the board there. Does get the Ancient off to heal himself. And we're a little bit running out of steam here for Freaks. Got 2 direct damage spells. Avenging Wrath, not fantastic into this board, but I feel like on this turn might be necessary, just because we've got more chances to hit face.
Yeah. Yeah.
The problem I see with Consecration is it actually adds HP to the board by triggering that Karen Death Rattle. So even though it does cleanly clear off 2 minions, it makes our Avenging Wrath worse next turn.
I would Divine's Favor, technically keeping Consex better. With Equality, keeping Consex probably better. Okay.
Goes for the Consecration and Hero Power.
It's probably the most consequential you get, but it's like really slow, right?
It is. I think you'd rather get value out of. I think you'd rather get value out of Avenging Wrath first and Consecration second, honestly, because now Avenging Wrath just seems bad. It doesn't really do much to the board. It's not going to punch through the Druid of the Claw. Probably not going to hit face enough.
That's punch through it.
It does manage to get through the Druid of the Claw, yeah.
I mean, if we draw Divine Favor, I mean, we are at 30 HP. We got some time here, right? So
Yeah.
maybe some magic can happen. And the Druid's actually drawing here too, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I would expect, yeah. Well, he's going with Wild Growth. Maybe he needs... Let's see, doesn't have any Earthen Ring Farseers. Only has Ancient of Lore. 1 more for the heal. So, yeah, getting a little close.
So, like, the Druid made like a really weak play there, right? So that's like a good way to tell if they have like combo.
Yeah.
It's like for safe Sapphire, like dead cards, like just keep them hand for like the combo, right?
Right.
So it's like very, very likely to do this combo after seeing that play. Like insanely likely.
So combo in this case is going to do, let's see, 26 damage, I think. Right?
Oh,
If we left these
yeah,
minions on the
26.
board. So we wouldn't die to it. I think he might, maybe in this position, charge into face with Arcane Golem, just hoping for, like, Levi or True Silver or something off the top to try and set up 2-turn lethal.
Yeah, I'd go face. You can't draw like Divine Favor into like Leroy Blessing of Might or something crazy.
Yeah.
It's technically possible.
Yeah.
It's like makes.
Looking a little bit harder here.
This Druid's doing a lot of trading, isn't it? Very interesting.
I don't
Well,
think
it's a
that's a
fucking
terrible
trade.
decision here, right? Is just they're the only way to die is to leave Paladin minions up on the board that can be buffed, like Divine Favor into Blessing of Kings, Blessing of Might kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And True
definitely gonna
Silver's,
validate a lot of time to Divine Favor though.
yeah, yeah. Maybe I think this is the reason usually we see 2 Divine Favors in Paladin. I'm surprised that Freaks doesn't choose to hit face there. We don't have too many opportunities here to survive. We know that combo is probably in hand. There it is. But the problem here is if we draw True Silver with this...
Oh, Consec?
Okay.
Consec?
We already played both of them.
Oh, we did, okay.
Yeah. Got 1 copy of Avenging Wrath left, but against the likely combo in hand, we may not be alive to get that off.
Yeah, definitely very likely it's combo the way you played it.
Yeah, and there's 27 damage with combo now if all of this stuff survives on the board. Even if we weapon down the Drake, that puts us down to 18. We're still dead to the combo. Now this is the board we wanted to have earlier in the game. Argent Protector is a very strong card against Druid, just making them, they're a class with a lot of expensive spells and expensive minions. Hard for them to deal 2 instances of damage, consistently to clear some of these like little minions that get the Divine Shield off. But we see Petrella getting on the board here, succeeding with his Druid.
Yeah. I would definitely say generally, it depends on your Druid list, but generally I would say Druid beats Aggro Pally.
Yeah, I've had kind of mixed results. I think a lot of times Druid is pretty capable of drawing more consistently than the Paladin, but there are certain early boards for the Paladin that can just be a nightmare for Druids to deal with.
Yeah.
Thinking of like Argent Squire, Blessing of Might, Argent Protector with on a Knife Juggler, and Harvest Golem. Those cards can really be sticky and difficult to deal with for the Druid.
Yeah, Mukla as well. People you should run Mukla.
Yeah, well, with Divine Favor, it's really the best situation to have Mukla, isn't it?
Yeah, but he also only won Divine Favor, so I guess he was like, I don't want Mukla in my deck.
Yeah.
Which I guess makes sense. What if about this matchup Obsidian? I played it.
Uh, I feel like a lot of times you really want to keep that Abusive Sergeant to trade up into minions. If you think, well, I suppose against Hunter here, maybe it's a little different. Let me get that Hunter list up on the screen.
What do you think about not ushering there?
Not what?
Playing the Usher on the 2-1?
Oh, it's tough. It's like if you're playing against a more aggressive deck, then the battle cry from the Elven Archer is going to be a little bit stronger. If you're playing against control your deck, then usually want to trade Abusive Sergeant up into, a bigger minion, something like that. So I actually don't mind here saving the Archer, playing the Abusive on turn 1. If we're playing against like Druid or something, then I would definitely play the Archer on turn 1 because that 1 damage ping isn't going to be as powerful.
No, I meant like on turn 2, like not playing the Usher on the Leopard Gnome, like you hear for instead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's tough. Like, I suppose that, like with Paladin, a lot of times you want to get value out of your hero power, but some matchups you really don't. And Hunter is probably one of those where you don't care as much about having summoning the 1/1 dudes. You care more about winning the race.
Yeah, it looked pretty slow to me, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think sending the Arcane Golem is correct here. Just clearing the board off. This can be vulnerable to Explosive Trap. There are 2 Explosive Traps in the deck, so... see, there's the bow.
Oh no.
That's
He's
usually
playing
the
too
first
fast.
sign.
He's playing too fast. Oh, really?
Okay.
This might not be too bad for Paladin, actually.
Yeah. Let's see, we got... More heal with the True Silver is going to be pretty crucial here. I think, given that there's only 1 card in Pedrele's hand, we probably want to play Arcane Golem with it because that extra mana is unlikely to be too important. If we play True Silver, if that card is Leroy, then we might be in a good position here to take this game. We'll have 12 HP. The bow plus the hero power is 5, plus Leroy is 11 total. So if we heal up to 12, we might be able to keep this game going.
Oh wow, we're actually threatening lethal.
Yep. Yeah, even 2 over. Explosive trap would be annoying here. We don't see it.
Wait, what happened? The Hunter was like doing so well.
Yeah, really a surprise finish here. True Silver, an absolutely key card against Hunter as well. Just being providing 4 points of healing, 8 points of damage. That's a 12 HP swing. When you're fighting in a matchup, that's a complete race. That's pretty important. All right, so Freak's taking the series 3-1. We'll see if we can hop in and find somebody else here doing battle. All right, so about... All right, LeMail. We haven't seen LeMail on stream yet, so let's get him up here.
Okay, okay.
That's incredible.
All right, Alfredo. Let's see if we can get him here too.
A lot of minions.
A lot of minions on both sides. Makes me wish I had Unleash the Hounds as both players.
I mean, it's like this on the deck, right?
Yeah. A lot of different opportunities to trade here. Some of these complex aggro boards, hard to always decide exactly what the proper plays are, but this looks like a... Oh, there we go. He's got the Doom Guard. The Stormforged Axe making an appearance here. What's your opinion on that card?
That's incredible.
I'm not sure. I haven't tried it, to be honest. I haven't really seen anyone play it, so it's hard to know actually. But on paper, the card is actually good, right? But
That's incredible.
I don't know, man.
And it looks like that's it. So Alfredo was already up 2-1 in the series. That will be the final game in this. So Alfredo Maya is advancing on to the next round. LeMail. We'll see you next tournament. GG's WP. Who else can we hop in on here and take a look at? How about our friend Sticky Pickle?
Yes, yes.
So players for this, it doesn't look like they've reported any results yet, so we might just be starting here.
Oh, I would drop the Ragnaros. I would send it.
It's a Diamond Ragnaros. It goes exactly where you want it to go.
Actually, no, you probably just did the Rough Grove Golem play. I haven't seen them on Hex this the Shamaness used though, so it's hard to know.
I must safeguard the land.
See, I think maybe if I put the deck lists in here, it'll show. It does not show the cards that have been played from the opponent. Bummer.
Yeah.
Violet Teacher and
It's
Druid.
fine.
In fact, Violet Teacher and Claw in Druid. How do you feel about that?
Oh yeah, Sticky likes the teacher. Like you're gonna see him play this in Shaman as well.
Yeah, and why? What is it about the teacher? What's the purpose of putting Violet Teacher in a deck?
I mean, you can basically put the taunt on the card, right? It's like a must kill minion. It's
Right.
not bad.
Right, it's like a third copy of Senjin.
Yeah, unless you're in a Sagra.
Right.
Bend it to your face. Yeah, no, like the Teach and Yeti I think is like really close. They're both on like the same power level. And then if you're on one claw, maybe that just makes the Teach slightly better than Yeti.
Right.
It's
right.
like it's like crazy close, but that's why it's playing the Teachers because they're one claw, right?
Right, right. Claw and Innervate and Wrath, all good cards with Violet Teacher.
Yeah, no, but all just found those cards, right? So, like,
Right.
yeah. It's looking good for the Druid. Like, usually whoever said on board wins this matchup, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of cards in hand. A lot of times in Shaman, when Shaman is playing this matchup, they just want to get so much value out of those totems and try to find a way to just basically win card advantage, because it can be difficult for the Druid to play anything big on the board for fear of it getting hexed or, traded up efficiently with Flame Tongue Totem, something like that. But if the Druid can get ahead in cards, it can be pretty tricky for the Shaman. They just get overwhelmed.
The Earth Mother is near.
Good. Argon here as well.
You fight with
There
purpose.
we go. And yeah, we've got Rag in hand, we've got Karen on board, two targets which absolutely need to be hexed, and Argon unable to find that hex early on in the game. Now, I don't know about you if you play much Shaman, but typically I'll keep Hex in my opening hand against Druid. Um, Shaman has really good reactionary tools against Druid. Their proactive tools, a lot of times, is more about toteming every turn and just controlling some of those big Druid minions. It may not be a popular opinion to keep Hex in the opening hand, but when you need it, you really do need it. And this is one of those situations where it feels bad not to have it.
Yeah, I think I remember keeping Hex too. But I also remember like struggling this much as Shaman, surprisingly.
Yeah. It's not as clear cut, I think, as a lot of players make it out to be. Shaman against Druid. There are cards like Earthshock here, which are generally a little bit weaker against Druid. Yeah, we get the silence down on one of their minions, but all the same, Earthshock just one damage doesn't really help us deal with minions as cleanly as something like Hex would.
Probably like double minion and then hero porters, right? So like Shaman can use Hex to come back, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Teacher, Innervate, Sylvanas, Hero Power seems like it makes a lot of sense.
Pay attention, class.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You could also Drake Sylvanas if you want to.
sure. And pretty fearsome board here for Sticky Pickle.
But yeah, I would definitely say this is very Shaman favor generally though. This is probably the biggest counter to Druid in the game.
Right. Yeah, if totems had 1 HP, it would be a little easier. You see Argon contemplating whether he's going to bolt a minion, bolt Druid face, bolt his own face.
I think it's well tilted. What do you think?
Maybe just a little
Like
bit.
that,
Maybe just a little bit. I'm not sure if the players haven't reported their other games yet or if this is the first game in their series, but if it is the first game in their series, yeah, maybe feeling some early signs of tilt. And does find his own face with the lightning bolts. Okay, that's good.
My greeting.
I've seen this before. And Force of Nature able to finish it off here. Alright. So, Sticky Pickle presumably going up 1-0 here with the Druid. And an important win against the Shaman there. That's going to be Shaman's best chance to win a game.
Yeah, probably. I haven't seen like the other decks, but yeah.
So, it looks like Sticky Pickle had his Warlock banned out, his Handlock, and he's banned out Argon Titan's Druid here as well. So, not wanting to face that with Mage, Rogue, or Druid, doesn't want to fight in the Druid mirror, just wants to ban that out. But leaves Rogue up.
Yeah, you can see Sticky cuts the Black Knight from the Druid, which makes a lot of sense if you're banning Druid, right? It's
Right,
pretty clever.
right,
So you can see a bit of thought process going into the deck building there,
Right.
and like planned out the ban beforehand, not just I don't know, doing it on the spot. Definitely some thought process there.
It looks like that was game 4 there. So Sticky Pickle taking down the series 3-1. He will advance on to the next one. I'll pull up our bracket here for just a moment so everybody can take a look. Maybe refresh that here so we can see. A couple of the players have already advanced on to the next round. We've got a few matches going on here. Still looks like just about everything done here in the first round. We still got Culture and Origami who haven't played their match. And let's see if we can hop into one of these other ones. Let's see how Amber's doing.
Oh, is it bringing Sulak?
She always brings Zulok.
Oh, she. Yeah.
Players have to bring their signature decks. Okay, looks like she's playing Shaman this time around.
Okay, is the Sulak banned?
And playing against Warrior here. Let's see if we can get... I'm not sure I've got... So not all the players, by the way, for the viewers out there, not all the players have added me as a friend, so I'm not... They have been reminded to do so if they haven't. Unfortunately, I'm not able to observe their hands, so we're not going to know exactly what Mortimer here has in his hand.
Oh.
That is
Oh, no.
Borax.
That's the card that should cost 3 mana.
It really should. It really should. Uh, Fiery Warax may be one of the stronger cards in Classic Hearthstone. Maybe the best reason to play Control Warrior in the whole format.
Yeah, that enormous Swift, right?
Yeah. So it looks like so far this is game 1. Look at these players' lists up here on the screen. Just a moment. And Amber's Warlock has indeed been banned out.
Alright, show some respect to the Sioux god.
Yeah, although I gotta say she's really been doing well on Shaman recently. I think undefeated in the last tournament with Shaman. So yeah, you kind of pick your poison here.
Yeah, maybe. I can't remember. I remember playing... I think I played Shaman Mirror against Ambi. Maybe I lost, I can't remember.
She's a protege of the famous Winterborn, godfather of Shaman. We've got two very strong Shaman players in the EU, maybe the best in the world there, with Visconda. She's playing in today's tournament, and Winterborn, he's opted not to play today. But yeah, always a pleasure to watch some of these really good Shaman players.
Yeah, sure. I think there's a lot of good Shaman players out there.
Yeah.
I'll say maybe... It's very hard, like so many good ones. I think maybe Nox might be the best one, but it's hard to say. He's kind of washed up now, though.
Don't let him hear you say that.
Interesting, okay.
Yeah, opting to use the lightning bolt there to clear the minion, keeping that rock biter for Doomhammer, trying to get a little bit more burst out of that weapon. Now we do see Harrison Jones in Mortimer's deck. makes Amber a little bit hesitant here to play the Doom Hammer, and I think rightfully so. Really can provide an enormous swing, not only in cards, but also the broken weapon. That Doom Hammer is pretty essential. We'll see how long she chooses to hold it.
Yeah, you can definitely play slow in this matchup from Shaman's perspective, but that was crazy, so well respected.
Yeah, it's not like the Warrior's ever really going to be able to damage us that much. And just having a big board of totems, it's like, yeah, you can brawl, and the most likely thing to survive is going to be a totem. But at the same time, brawling off a bunch of hero-powered totems doesn't feel like the best as Warrior either.
Yeah, for sure. I think you want to keep like, I don't know the exact number, but you want to keep like 6 damage something on the board, so you push like 4 a turn,
Yep.
and then the warrior just kind of has to brawl, or they just give like real awkward for them.
Yeah, the Warrior doesn't have too many proactive options to just clear these totems off easily, right? They don't really want to be spending their removal cards on that. They don't want to be using Fiery War Axe swings to take down, totems or things like that. They'd rather have something on the board like a Taskmaster doing that. And Mortimer gonna pop the early Alexstrasza here on curve. Now, Shaman never really play any healing in their decks, so I think this makes a lot of sense to just get that out there as soon as possible. And
It's feeling lucky though. I mean, doesn't she have like 2 X's left in the deck?
nope, she has 0 hexes in the deck. 2 lava bursts instead.
Oh, really? Oh, that makes this matchup a little harder.
Yeah. We'll see if Mortimer can follow it up. He'll still need 7 damage out of hand. Alright, taunting up with the Senja. Doesn't look like there's a Grom Taskmaster in hand right now. But we're on a pretty severe clock here. I would imagine the War Axe could hit face here. Shaman's at 7, hasn't played a taunt.
I'm curious to see if Hotbus find this like not funny hex, because I think that card is like insanely good, right? I guess you're just going like full anti-rogue.
It is good, yeah. I think this is a build that Winterborn has been playing a lot with these double lava bursts instead of the hex. It is a little bit weaker into Warrior and Druid. Maybe the thought process behind it, I'm not 100% sure, but maybe the thought process is, Lava Burst deals with most things, and gives you a little bit more reach with this deck against decks like Rogue. Kind of a jack-of-all-trades deck, I suppose. The Hex can be very useless against, some decks like Zoo or something. This is just a little bit more aggressive, less with some burn.
Alright. I think I know his little secret now then.
That's right, that's right.
Don't need to play around the hex again.
Oh, and I think that Taunt Totem is a pretty strong roll here. Now we see there is no Black Knight in Mortimer's deck, so if Amber is able to get this Alakir down and stick it to the board, it can be pretty tough for the Warrior to deal with. It's a little susceptible to Brawl in this case.
Oh.
Oh. Well, 1 in 3 chance here. Hits the bubble on the Squire. So Amber not out of the game yet.
Winnable.
I think so. She's able to use those 2 minions on the board very efficiently, trade off here. I might have put the Fire Elemental on the left-hand side, though, just so that we can get value out of our totems later.
What do you mean?
If you put the fire elemental on the left-hand side, then when we click the button, the flame tongue is able to buff up our totems.
Oh yes, that's pretty smart. Yeah.
Defender of Argus also a pretty strong card here.
I see a lot of shaman like mess up position like that, like pre-positioning. I see people like play like squire in the middle. It's like you want to have it on left side, in my
Yeah,
opinion,
yeah, definitely, definitely.
or like right side. Like you don't want to have a square in the middle. It just doesn't die.
Right, exactly, exactly. A lot of the strength of Flame Tongue is being able to clear one minion after another. So a bunch of totems. For the first totem can suicide in with 2 damage. Next totem can suicide in with 2 damage. But yeah, when we put bubbles or death rattles in there in the middle, it can clog up our ability to trade effectively on the board and utilize our whole board to with that Flame Tongue. And Sylvanas is a tough card to deal with here. No Earth Shock in hand.
No hex in the deck.
Yeah. And Amber just gonna flood the board here, hoping that Sylvanas doesn't steal Alec here. She's able to get a lot of damage in and maybe set up a lethal here. Mortimer's only at 8.
That's actually a crazy swing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brawl kinda is the problem.
Yeah.
Because even if Alakir lives, like Sylvana steals it, so it's
Yeah.
that checkmate that.
Yeah, one of those situations where you don't want your own Alakir to survive. And steals the 2/1 taunt totem.
I don't think training Alakir into Sylvana's correct though. I think probably losing is probably the way.
I mean, you know, setting up your own lethal, very good. But I guess once we have board control here as Shaman, probably playing around Brawl is a possibility. But again, you know, it's not so simple. I think both lines are very valid there.
Well played.
And I'm not sure there's anything Amber can draw off the top here that's going to be able to save her. Oh, Taunt Totem though. Mortimer able to finish it. Okay, so Warrior taking a win there off Shaman. I would say normally that's a little bit Shaman favored, but it's kind of draw dependent as well.
I would definitely say Shaman dependent, but when you don't run Hex, I'm not sure who's actually favored.
Yeah.
And also when you run double Doomhammer, like the Warrior draws Hearthstone, like
Right.
yeah, I think double Doomhammer actually makes much bit worth it well.
Yeah, it does. It does help if the first weapon is destroyed to have that second Doomhammer around, for sure. But you know, it's always scary to play the first one anyway and let them draw 6 cards or 4 cards off of it. So Amber going to bring it back with the Shaman here. Looks like Mortimer's chosen to bring his Druid deck.
Oh, Squire is really good in this matchup. Well,
Yeah.
I guess every matchup. And this match especially is like early board is really important.
Yeah. Best one drop maybe in Classic. Argent Squire there. Enables both aggro and mid-range decks in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
The light protects me.
And an Argent Squire of his own. And I noticed Mortimer's running a Blood Knight in his deck as well. Oh, and maybe he's going to innervate it out here. Oh, no, it's going to be Wild Growth.
He might be setting up a Blood Knight though, so after seeing that coin Wild Growth, Innovate Wild Growth, yeah, we'll definitely make that trade.
Yeah, I think that's a very wise decision on Amber's part here. And gets the Taunt Totem up too for her part.
I could have 3 drops coming down, that's for sure, of that Innovate Wild Growth.
Yeah. And, you know, honestly, this golem can be a little bit annoying to deal with here. I think Feral Spirit is also a possibility here. We do lose a little bit of value. I think actually that's the totem we wanted. A healing totem would have been okay too.
Mm.
Alright, out comes the Yeti. I don't think Feral Spirit's too bad here. When the Yeti trades in, we do have a natural way to clear it with Rockbiter next turn. So we do...
We do, but promise we have 3 mana next turn, so like, we have to like hero power after that, right?
Right, exactly.
Oh wow. He knows the secret to no hex.
Oh... Yeah, this
That's
is
the
gonna
problem
be
of open
tough.
deck list. Like running a list without hex, the open deck list, I don't think that's... Like, if you don't have the open deck list, like, your opponent won't know, right?
Exactly.
With open deck list, they could go for plays like this. They know your secrets.
Exactly, exactly.
Like, you see that insta rank, like, no consideration whatsoever.
Yeah, and with no BGH, it's just as tough here
Yeah,
to
yeah.
clear it. Yeah, there's not really a good option, neither in her hand nor really in the deck. I suppose a spell-powered Lava Burst could do it, but we're overloaded next turn. We wouldn't even have the mana to do that. And oh, it might feel really bad here.
It's like they could kill the rag. It's a lot
Oh.
of damage too.
Well, does find the Lava Burst. Mortimer is running a little bit low on cards, got the double Innervate in the opening hand. So running a little tiny bit low on cards, but all the same, Amber's running a little low on life. Yeah, so I think we totem first, trying to find spell power. A little unlucky there, doesn't find the spell power. And she's going to go with the Lava Burst on the Yeti, leaving a brag.
You could kill the rag there, right?
Could have killed Rag, yeah. Does feel inefficient using the Lightning Bolt and the Lava Burst on it, but maybe necessary. And tough game there. Okay, so Mortimer able to win with the Druid. That means he's got just his Mage deck left here. We'll see if Amber decides to run it back one more time with Shaman.
Man, these shovels are getting destroyed by druids. What's going on in that position?
Yeah, this is not something we normally see. In the words of one of our famous community members, this is illegal. And we're bringing Shaman here? Oh, I got it wrong here. It's not a mage deck here, sorry. He's got Shaman as his fourth. Okay, so Shaman against Hunter here, and I think Hunter has to be favored in almost every matchup against Shaman, just because of Unleash the Hounds.
Right. I've heard people tell me that mid-range Hunter beats mid-range Shaman. I'm not fully convinced, but...
Yeah, mid-range Hunter I think is a little bit more difficult. Certainly face Hunter, I think it has a favored matchup into Shaman.
Yeah, I think like all aggro decks do, right? Man, that Squire is kind of huge though.
Right, yeah. Squire always super annoying to deal with as face Hunter unless you've got your own. Just kind of guaranteed to 2-for-1, stall that board out, delay the game a little bit longer. And Thalnos, I think, is a pretty good follow-up here, just putting 1 damage minions on the board.
Yeah. Really strong, actually. Because now you can bolt this as well, oh god.
Yeah.
That's the time it seems.
And clearing Lyakov in a pretty efficient midway there. This Argent Squire doing a lot of work to control the board early game. Alright, gets Misha. If there's another Bolt or Rock Biter in hand, that's going to be heartbreaking. Oh, Hex. That's about the best Hex target that you can find. Misdirection not going to help. Still looking for Unleash the Hounds. Unleash the Hounds and Knife Juggler together are good. And that said, while Mortimer's been able to control the board very effectively here and kill those two animal companions, only 2 damage represented on the board. And so Amber's still ahead in the life total race. That might change now that Doomhammer's been equipped.
Yeah, 5 mana deal 16 is 16 is quite strong.
Yeah, it turns out very mana efficient. Now, tough choice here for Amber. A lot of times with this deck, we really want to be hero powering every single turn. She's going to hero power this turn. This seems pretty reasonable to me. You'll notice she hasn't played the Leper Gnome yet either. I think a lot of times we're trying to imagine, you know, what's the worst case scenario, and Earthshock hitting the Leper Gnome would be annoying and tragic, so trying to trot out some of those other 1 health minions first, seeing if there's an Earthshock in hand. I think at this point it's safe to say there's probably no Earthshock in hand, so she can feel a little bit more comfortable playing the Leper Gnome. I'm not sure that this is the position in which I would play it, just because we're playing Explosive Trap anyway, so we're going to clear off that Argent Squire. Don't need to give it too much value, but at the same time, we only have a limited amount of mana.
I put a Hounds here, you know? Like, these things got 1 HP, we can, like, Leroy Hounds, like,
Yeah.
we can do some crazy things.
Yeah, I mean, that would be... Unleash the Hounds would be an insane card to draw on the next turn. And just toteming, putting out Mana Tide, that's more fodder for Unleash the Hounds, should they come into Amber's hand here.
Yeah, I mean, definitely correct to Totem though, right? Like, Magic, like, heal Totem.
Right, exactly. Healing Totem and Taunt Totem are both good there.
Yeah.
And drops the Misdirection. I'm not 100% convinced that Abusive Sergeant is necessarily the correct choice here. That said, we don't really need that extra 2 damage probably to finish off this game. And Amber may be psyching him out a little bit here with the Misdirection. Mortimer not 100% sure that this isn't another Explosive Trap, so trading off one of the wolves first.
I mean, if it's explosive, you don't play the abusive, right? That's why I'm not convinced of that abusive play. You make it pretty obvious it's not explosive.
Right.
Unless it is explosive, just
Oh.
like big braining it.
That's a big brain misdirect right there. And that is a tough card to see. Alec here, no real way to get past Alec here with this Hunter deck, leaving Amber at 1 HP. We would have lethal if not for all of these taunts that are in the way.
Yeah, you know what to say. Taunt this shit.
Taunt is cheap. If the face plays taunt though, me just go face. Amber trying to go face with Leroy there. Yeah, if they play taunt, I mean, it's not like she has any taunts. I don't know what's preventing her from Leroy attacking her own face. She's having some fun, I like that.
Pretty close though, actually. I mean, it looked. I mean, the early game looked like insanely rough. We still almost got there.
Yeah. Yeah, just
Like
having all the answers in hand. The Rockbiter, the 2 Argent Squires, the Feral Spirits. Yeah, really just difficult to deal with all around. Alright, so Mortimer taking that series, I believe 3-1. See if we can hop into another one. Okay, we got Khan playing here. I don't think we've had Khan on stream for a while.
Ah, yes, the Dahlin hunter.
That's right.
Always spicing it up.
That's right.
Like you look at the board, you see a Dread Corsair and the hunter, you already know it's Dahlin.
Yeah, what's
Like you don't even need to look at the name.
what's special about this hunter list? Got a
I see that dude.
little miracle happening here. I have not played this list myself, but it's on my very short list of decks that I absolutely want to play. A very creative list, has flares, has arcane shots, tracking, and hunter's mark, all as fodder for Gadgets and Auctioneer.
The Earth Mother are upon us.
Oh yeah, I've actually been playing quite a bit of Miracle Hunter myself. I got like a quite different list. Like I was trying the Molten Giants.
Oh, Molten Giants with it. Do you ever burn your own face in order to play Molten Giants?
Yeah, that's the game plan.
Ah, cool. Deal 2 damage to your face, but get 8 damage on the board.
Nah, I mean pretty much you take your weapon, right? You attack like big attack guys and stuff.
Right, yeah.
Oh wow, that's quite the answer.
It looks like Dahlin is up 2-0 so far in this series as well.
But I do remember that at least my Miracle Hunter was struggling most against Druids.
Yeah, what's the strength of playing Gadgetzan in this deck?
I mean, you draw like I mean, when I was playing it, I drew my Molten Giants every game, so it kind of worked out. But like that's kind of the idea, right? Like the deck was supposed to be like complete shit, so I also fall behind,
Right.
and then we just draw for Moltens with Auctioneer, and we just work out. We kind of did.
Yeah, we don't need to like draw our entire deck like Miracle Rogue, right? We have a lot of stuff that, you know, we only need to draw a few cards really with this Auctioneer to have it pay off. And it's also a 4/4 body, right? You know, at its very worst.
You also like drew your high moons, right? And like,
Right.
your high moons actually like crazy strong of a card.
Right.
Like you can play like shit cards. You draw a high main, the deck can't win on its own.
I know the game kind of plays itself once High Main comes down on the board. Just one of those.
Man.
Yeah, and this is the thing, right? Is that swipe is amazing against the first body of it, but then you have these annoying little hyenas that pop out. Swipe would be great against, you know, spell power swipe would be great against the hyenas, but we don't have 2 swipes. And so yeah, a little bit awkward.
Yeah, we were on turn 8, and we could technically like silence swipe if we had it, but
Right.
we're asking for a lot.
Alright, well, Khan needs to win this in order to stay in the tournament here. Dahlin is up 2-0 in the series.
What?
What's the play here?
I mean, I think you gotta attack face, like trade in one. I mean, we know it's explosive, otherwise we'd
Right.
probably like trade something in. I mean, you trade one gain, hit face, you lore heal, next time like double taunt, I guess. You gotta.
Whoa.
Okay.
Gonna keep that Senjin
I would-
healthy and alive?
I would
And
definitely
not
attack,
attack. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, an interesting decision not to attack there. I've seen this happen a lot with Druid against Hunters. They'll just build a big board and, you know, at some point
Right.
Savage Roar is just gonna kill. And with 2 Druids with a claw in hand, I could see why waiting a turn here might make sense.
I mean, this hunter it reminds me a bit of Crusher Hunter, right?
Right.
And like when you play against Crusher Hunter, the deck, like they don't do much. They just like play burst, so like playing it fast is like really good. But this deck runs a bit more minions, so it's okay to not attack that.
Right. With a deck that runs so many minions, we can afford to leave our minions up to trade on the board.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you get like Trap Hunter, right? You kind of just want to play it fast. 'Cause
Right.
they don't play minions. Yeah.
Now, do you agree with this choice here to play the Wild Growth and cycle a card?
I mean, if you go with Force Nature, you have to, yeah. Yeah. Seems okay. I don't know. Well, that's a good draw.
It is. It is. We can kind of see the awkwardness, though, of that trap not being triggered here, is that we don't want to use the last charge of the bow into this Sen'jin. We can play Greenskin on the board and hit the Sen'jin, but then we aren't getting the awesome value that we wanted out of the explosive trap earlier. I'll be interested to see if Dahlin chooses to... Yep, he does swing into the Sen'jin. Second Force of Nature picked up here for Khan. Well, if you got Leroy in hand and a nice bow equipped, this is not the board that you really want to see here. Yep, and 10 in hand. Alright, Khan able to stay alive. Get a win off of that Druid against Hunter. Finishes in style with the 0 power. Alright, that brings the series 2-1 in favor of Dahlin. Khan still has to win with Warlock and Warrior here. We'll see which one he decides.
Nah, I really hope this Hunter somehow doesn't go 3-0-3. That'd be really sad to see.
Yeah. Well, it's done historically. It's done pretty well in these tournaments. This Miracle Hunter list, Dahlin has advanced pretty deep into a lot of these brackets and tournaments using this Hunter list. So has definitely played a lot of it. Has had success with it. It's got a proven track record.
Okay. Yeah.
Alright, so Khan opting for the Warrior against the Hunter. This makes a lot of sense. Warrior hero power pretty decent against Hunter. At the same time, Dahlin is playing, let's see, a copy of Gladiator's Longbow, which can be pretty strong into this matchup. It gives a lot more reach, a lot more ability to clear some of those big minions.
Interesting task must keep because the Hunter doesn't run 1 HP minions, right?
Exactly.
Maybe onto something. Maybe the card's just that good.
Well, it's not exactly
I
the thing you want to coin out, right?
No, but to execute, I guess.
And Dahlin with not a lot of minions in hand here, which are good targets for Tankmaster or for Taskmaster. Khan opting to just armor up. He's going to wait and see what happens. Got that coin Cork Run here that can be pretty strong. It's a good proactive board play. Ooh, and that's a tough tracking there. Grabs the High Main right away. High Main definitely the best card in the deck, I think, against Warrior. But it does hurt to lose an Eaglehorn Bow, and it does hurt to lose an Auctioneer. Although he already has one Auctioneer in hand, so probably not as worried about that.
Looks like Candles plays matchup like really slow with the Think Must to keep.
Yeah, I think that's an okay idea. I mean, we've got, plenty of armor gain, things like that. It's a Warrior just, by definition, is a pretty reactionary deck, so not even opting to coin out the Gorkron or start to put any pressure on here. Both decks kind of more reactive decks than proactive. So both players kind of just sitting here, hero powering back and forth until they've got some good proactive play on the board, maybe with 2 minions that are tough to clear. Alright, Dahlin with a nice easy clear here. Pyromancer, Arcane Shot, and even going to drop the Doomsayer as well. Just stop that warrior from developing. Maybe anticipating that Coin Karen or Coin Sylvanas were going to hit. Just doesn't want either one of those to hit the board without an answer to it. There's no freezing trap in Dahlin's hand.
Well, there is a Tank Master.
Yeah. Oh.
But like the amount of value that is just so ridiculous.
Yeah, so it deals 5 damage essentially to the first body, and then deals an additional 4 damage after that, minus the 1 HP that we get from the squirrel. So really 8 damage there with Tinkmaster, doing really 3 instances of damage or 2 instances of damage. So very, very strong play. The squirrel is a beast though, gives access to kill command. and instead opts to just trade in. He doesn't need to throw the kill command out yet. Just gonna play Explosive Trap, easily clear this board. And equipping Gorehowl here. I don't mind the choice to not trigger the Explosive Trap. One of the downsides of playing Explosive Trap into Warrior is that they can wait around until they get an Armor Smith. Drop the Armor Smith on the board and get 3 armor out of the Explosive Trap here. That said, I think this might be a missed opportunity to play Grom. The Explosive Trap will trigger Grom's Enrage, so he'll be able to swing right in with 10 damage.
It seems like Khan just wants to play it crazy slow.
Yeah. And not in any rush, really, right?
Yeah, I mean, like when I saw it, Tank Master's keep, or did you what his game plan was?
Yeah, this was just waiting. He knew exactly what the greatest threat was. It's Savannah Highmane, keeping this Tank Master here. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see this Panther not exit stealth. There's no good way for the warrior to remove this, really.
Oh, it's turn 10, they just hero power back before.
Yeah, exactly. This is kind of what you get with 2 reactionary decks. A lot of hero powering between them. And they do cancel each other out here. It's good to always be hero powering as the hunter against warrior. You just don't want them to build up that armor. You need to, at some point, kill them. And Khan now with 10 cards in hand, so he's going to have to do something even if it's coin hero power pass.
Oh, up in Nuss we saw that.
It would be an interesting one, turn 9, coin hero power pass. But I'm not sure there's really another good option here. I mean, I don't feel like Grom is necessarily a terrible play here. We do know that Deadly Shot and Hunter's Mark are in Dahlin's hands, so maybe trying to find a way to get some other minions on the board to, get rid of that removal. And it might just be coin hero power. Well, sounds strange to say, but Dahlin's got some room here to just keep hero powering. Khan, on the other hand, is going to be back up to 10 cards next turn. Is going to have to make a choice. I don't know if slamming your own minion is really necessarily what he wants here, but
yeah, you might actually slam your own minion. You can like brawl him, but that doesn't make sense.
yeah, I suppose Brawl's not the worst. We do see the downside here, though,
Oh,
of not triggering the explosive trap and waiting for that armor smith is that now that Dahlin's drawn his Eaglehorn bow, he will get more value out of that explosive trap.
some exciting gameplay.
Yeah, peak Hearthstone here. Oh, and doesn't opt to play the Grom beforehand. I guess he's going to go with the Taskmaster on it.
You could even hit face a weapon, yeah.
Yeah, that's 19. He's got lethal with the War Axe next turn. And that's a big swing. And I don't see a Dread Corsair in hand. So no way to taunt up against that next instance of damage. Might need to play Auctioneer here.
Yeah. The thing is, can't even has the option to clear 2 Dread Corsair and play Axe, I think, right?
Yeah,
Think like armor up, chill slam, execute.
yeah.
Like 2, 4, 5, 6 mana. 3, 4, 5, 7 mana, and then you Axe 9 mana. Yeah, you can do it all. I'll give Misdirection, right?
No, there's only freezing and explosive in the deck here.
Okay.
So triggering the explosive, Khan able to close it out with a swing from Fire to War Axe. Very patiently played. Got the EU special going on here with the 2 players hero powering back and forth. Alright, so Khan able to pick up a second game, tying the series up at 2-2. He'll have Warlock left against Hunter.
Oh, that's gonna be interesting, man.
Yeah, let's see what we got here for Khan's Warlock deck.
Your soul shall be mine.
And he's playing a lot of burn. A lot of burn. Drawing into the combo, yeah.
Yeah, you see this a lot in High Legend.
Yeah, an immense amount of burn damage in this with the Bluegills, with the double Arcane, double Wolf Rider, Leroy, even Hellfire in there, double PO, double Soulfire, double Abusive, everything in this deck. It looks kind of like a Hunter deck.
I think I heard Sticky Pickle. He said that this deck originally came from Asia, and apparently, don't quote me on this, but I think someone got like rank 1 with this, and then we started like popping up on like EU and stuff.
Yeah.
See, it's on NA as well, but never much on NA.
Yeah, on NA, LOK Shadow has been the person that I've seen playing this deck. And it has an interesting play style. We see Loot Hoarder in it and Novice Engineer. A lot of times with this deck, because we have so many chargers, you'll see actually Khan, if he's playing it as I think he will, we're going to see him playing a lot of life taps on his turns, just trying to find all of the chargers. I'm not sure if it's appropriate here to do so, because we have Bluegill, Argent Squire. That seems like a pretty natural play, but also probably trying to play a little bit around Explosive Trap.
I think this might be a really hard matchup for the Hunter, actually, because we have no healing, we have basically no taunts, we don't have pressure.
Right.
This seems like a disaster of a matchup to me.
Yeah,
and
Explosive is normally very strong against decks that have to put minions on the board and then attack with them. It's not as strong against minions that have charge that have already attacked our face.
Yeah. It's not easy chunk of burst in this Hunter, you never know.
Yeah.
That seems like a very hard matchup to me.
I think so too. Hunters can get a little overwhelmed by numerous charge creatures. Interesting turn here. There's always the possibility of like Leroy Coin, Mortal Coil, although that will kind of conveniently run into this Pyromancer, instead choosing to tap. I'd like to see Coin Abusive on this here. Maybe saving it for Leroy Coin Double Coil.
I think this is fine. I mean, The abusive dice like every AoE in the deck, right?
Yeah. And as far as choices here, it's a tough one. I mean, bow deals 6 damage. That's very good. Pyro going to be important for clearing off some of these 1 HP minions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Voidwalker, pretty decent pickup there, especially considering the bow just came out.
What's that? It's already 12 damage in hand for Khan.
Yeah,
And that's 12, 15, 16 with 4 off. And
that's 4 damage.
It's not guaranteed lethal though, you know?
Yeah,
So you could tap first to make it more likely for lethal, if you want to.
if we tap first, then we'll have the same number of cards in hand, I think. Right? Because we'd have to burn the coin in order to do so.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, it's a big difference. Yeah. Well,
If he plays Abusive and then Soulfire, that's just that's a 1 in 4 chance to discard Soulfire, so I think worth it. And instead, just gonna opt for the Mortal Coil here.
yeah, you could find Power Whelming for guarantee lethal, right?
Yeah,
Couldn't
good
find
point. Good point. And
Ah.
that's gonna do it.
Nah, that's. I mean, props to Cap, but yeah, that's really sad to see, right? I mean, with Dahlin, like, they're
Yeah.
too low. He brings out the Hunter and just.
Yeah,
His Hunter doesn't seem too bad. It's just the matchup seemed really hard, right?
yeah, exactly. I would say it's less of a judgment on the deck and much more just, that's playing into a deck that's just all chargers where your reactionary deck is going to be a little bit difficult. So, exciting series there, Con taking it down, coming back with the reverse sweep. And we'll see if we can jump into another match here. We got players playing all the time. And
Well, I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
sounds good. Alright, we've got Arceus here. Let's pull it up. We got Gul'dan against Gul'dan.
Your soul shall be mine. I am your
Alright, so we've got Arceus against Culture here. See if we can get both hands on the screen.
The light protects me.
job done.
Alright, so got Zoolock into Handlock, and I think, this matchup is not necessarily one that's really easy to predict. The Handlock has the tools, absolutely, to stomp Zoo if they get their Molten Giants out, if they get their Hellfire Plate, things like that. But also, Zoo can just run away with the board before turn 4. I like Culture's choice to tech in the Voidwalkers here into this deck. I've seen those be pretty successful at kind of stopping some of the early aggression, save a little HP. It's doing good work here, able to stop the Squire from swinging in. Able to trade with the Priestess as well. Let's see if Culture decides to tap. A lot of times when we're playing this Warlock deck, this Handlock deck, against aggressive decks, we don't want to be tapping as much. We'd rather kind of be trotting out minions early to kind of stem some of the bleeding, then get a nice AoE clear with Hellfire and move on to our Moltens and other big minions.
Almost out of time.
So Culture has brought, let's see, he's brought Warlock, Mage, Druid, and Paladin, getting his Paladin banned out. And Arceus bringing Rogue, Tempo Mage, Zoolock, and Combo Druid. He's got his Druid banned out. Okay, nice little silence there from the Owl. I like that. Not much to do here. Definitely just tap. Clear the board off. You got Dark Iron into Doomguard coming up, so a little bit of a Curve Stone going on here. Yeah, and I like the choice to play the Dark Iron Dwarf here. Didn't necessarily need to trade. Oh, an Arcane Golem gonna trade right into that Dark Iron Dwarf. A nice trade. And even with the Voidwalker here, saving a little bit of HP, uh, able to soak up one hit from this Doomguard. But after that, the Doomguard is not going to be too easy to clear Culture with not a lot of resources in hand to deal with that.
I wonder.
We must cleanse the
And actually, yeah, it looks like Arceus is not going to plan to play the Doomguard this turn, wants to get some of those other cards on the board. Can always play Doomguard next turn, might even have the ability to dump the other card in hand as well. Arceus taking his time here. I think that pretty much no matter what, we're going to play Flame Imp Doomguard. Arceus, though, one thing I have to say is always takes his time on his turns. I really appreciate it when players do that. In a tournament setting, there's really no reason not to be taking your time. You got a whole day to play a tournament. May as well spend as much time as you need on the roof. So, Arceus looking like he's in a pretty good board state. Culture gonna use that Leroy just to trade off the Doomguard. It's kind of a tough minion to deal with. I think Culture's probably hoping to dig here for Hellfire.
Oh, hello, I'm back.
Hey, good to have you back.
I just grabbed some food.
Awesome. Yeah, it's gonna be a long day.
Gonna be a long day.
Yeah.
A long fun day, yeah?
I hope so. Is it Sunday?
No, Saturday. For me, at least.
Yeah, I think for Arceus it is Sunday, though. He's,
Oh, really?
I believe, 22 hours ahead. Arceus from Sydney, I believe. Last I checked, at least. So Arceus already off to a good start. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you need a blessing?
Picking up a game with Mage over Druid. Arceus on his signature tempo Mage. Plays it unlike anybody else, I think, in the world. Maybe the only truly successful player with tempo Mage.
One shot, one kill.
And Culture's getting pretty low here. Spent a lot of the early game removing and not tapping. And we can see here kind of an awkward hand with the double PO, the Mountain Giant. Not going to be able to play the Mountain Giant. It's going to cost 9 next turn. Even if he could play it, he'd be dead on the board. And Arceus just going to push damage, not opting to trade. He's seen one Molten already. He's seen that. Culture hasn't spent much time tapping, so this makes a lot of sense. Faceless Manipulator, not exactly what he wanted to see here. Once this Sun Fury trades in, we've got 3 damage represented by Arceus on the board, so it's conceivable that Culture could tap here. I think it's going to be a pretty hard game if he doesn't tap. Tricky choice of what to Faceless. I feel like Facelessing the Sun Fury might be the correct choice. 3 HP. You know, the 2 attack lines up with anything on the board already. So he's actually going to opt for the Shattered Sun Cleric.
Cleanse the sun well.
Trades off.
Yeah, I think you gotta. I mean, your hand is just really bad, right?
Yeah,
It's very interesting though, because like the hand lock, like you want to be tapping, but you're playing as aggro, you kind of can't. So it gets like
Right.
really interesting.
right,
But this is definitely not a game-winning hand, right? So I'm
right.
pretty sure it's gonna be tap. I guess we draw. No, Leroy doesn't kill him.
So many possibilities.
He's already played the Leroy. He had to play
Oh,
Leroy.
yeah.
Yeah, he had to play Leroy a little bit earlier to trade off, which is a little unfortunate. So now Arceus figuring out exactly how he wants to use this Defender of Argus this turn. Could use it to push 2 more damage. Could use it on the Amani Berserker to give a higher HP taunt minion.
It would play on Hellfire. No, our place Hellfire is dead though.
Right, exactly.
So yeah, this makes sense then, yeah.
Yeah, still, I mean, this is still technically vulnerable to Shadow Flame.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's actually kind of interesting. Huh.
And going down to 1 finds the Hellfire. Tragically late there, unfortunately. So
Was there 1 or 2 Shadow Flames in that handlock?
looks like just 1 Shadow Flame.
Yeah. Maybe the play made sense then.
Yeah. So
If there's 2 flames, I don't know, man. But 1 flame, yeah.
right. Yeah, Shadow Flame. I always consider it a 2 of. I know it can be a very awkward hand, but it's you know, one of those cards that you just like really need to have when you need it.
But I think Arceus being smart there because you saw him like roping that turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure I have a read that Arceus went through Culture's deck list. It was like, does he run 1 or 2 Shadow Flames? It's like 1 Shadow Flame, okay, we'll go with this play.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Yeah, I would say Arceus also a really top-notch hand reader as well. Watching him on his stream, listening to him explain decisions in games, it seems like he's always hyper aware of what his opponent has that could answer what he has. And as a player that plays a lot of board-centric decks, I think that that's a really smart decision on his part to constantly be thinking, okay, like you say, if there's 1 Shadow Flame in the deck, what are the odds that he has it? And if he doesn't have it, or if he does have it, is this really so much of a punish? Am I going to have trouble dealing 3 damage at the end of the game? Probably not. So, making some consistently good choices there. Alright, as we're getting started in this game, I'm going to step out for just a quick moment. I will be right back.
Okay.
This guy's toast.
So you can go very tempo here with the teacher prep sap. Which I think makes sense, you still got the coin concealed for Auctioneer, right? Oh, it's going all in.
I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to learn. Shields up.
Holy cow. I leave and there's a full board a couple turns later here. Arceus looking like the
Arceus
teacher's
was
doing
crazy.
work. Holy cow.
Yeah, it's going crazy.
Well, Culture does have a Taunted Molten Up, and not seeing any Cold Blood right now for Arceus. Can trade pretty efficiently in here.
Yeah, I think we have to really scare Shadow Flame, right?
Many options.
Yeah, I think so. It seems really scary not to trade on board here. And actually going to opt to hit with his face. I like this choice. The teacher is a very annoying card to deal with right now. And yeah, leaves the teacher vulnerable to Hellfire, but doesn't leave the Drake vulnerable to Hellfire here. and also eliminates the possibility of like a PO Shadow Flame play. So some tough choices here. He's got a couple of Owls, couple of Coils, Defender of Argus, Arcane Golem, Earthen Ring. Got a Twilight Drake, but it feels a little scary to be playing Twilight Drake here.
Okay,
With the
so
Soulfire skill.
From Handlock's perspective, we kind of know Arceus doesn't have sap.
Mhm.
He sort of played the Lost Stone, right?
Right.
That should change something right now, but could change something later on.
Yeah, I think this is a wise decision here, playing the Drake. If not now, what proactive minion are we going to get on the board, right? Kind of got to play it this turn. Sets himself up for a nice Defender of Argus plus Earthen Ring next turn, if he wants. Can even trade in with the Drake and then heal it back up with Earthen Ring. Not looking like a terrible spot for Culture, honestly. But there is Leroy Shadow Step. There's also Leroy Conceal.
I'm ready to learn.
And Eric still definitely crazy to go for. I don't think that.
It
Like,
would
get
be,
punished for Ultimate, get punished from Ultimate Giants, get punished for Hellfire, get punished for Shadow Flame.
definitely. We I think are pretty sure that there's no Hellfire or Shadow Flame in hand. At least there wasn't a couple turns ago, right? So I don't think that that's necessarily the worst line in the world, but I don't think it's also very good, right? We, like you mentioned, Shadow or Molten Giant is kind of a big threat for us. We don't really want to allow them into the game that way. And Arceus opting to not hit face here with the SI, because that would bring Culture to 15, where he could play a Molten Giant plus a Sun Fury to taunt up. Doesn't want to run into that, so Culture in a spot where he's just going to have to taunt the Drake. Maybe Drake plus Earthen Ring.
Yeah, that's usually where like keep handlocks like in burst range. And like 17, 18, stuff like that. If they do it
Exactly.
as well, if you have combo in hand, you can just keep them at like 17, 18 and just
Yeah, just keep
one
building
minion
the
live
board and
and
trading
kill
it.
them.
Hmm.
Yeah, like a good range to keep them at, like 17, 18.
Now, I'm not 100% sure that the heal on face here is the best choice. I feel like healing the Drake is also a pretty viable thing to do.
We are saying we don't have Ultimate Giant for healing the face, that's for sure.
Exactly, exactly. Keeping a player like Arceus guessing is usually is maybe one of our best strategies. Just because he's going to get that read off it right. He knows there's not going to be a Molten in hand if Culture's healing his face.
Yeah.
Pretty clean clear here with Deadly Poison, Eviscerate the Drake, swing in with face into this 4/4 Earthen Ring. And curious if he'll choose to trade on the board here. He's looking at that Leroy in hand, thinking about, what he can do. Going face does get punished by a second Defender of Argus. Oh, he's going to conceal him. Cool.
Wow.
Well, that's it. That's lethal represented, right? That's Leroy Shadow Step is 18, is 12, plus the dagger and SI, that's 18. Yeah, I like this choice to conceal here.
It's yeah, might be correct. The problem is we draw Auctioneer, we got a bit of a we have nothing to play with Auctioneer, right?
It's very true.
It's
I feel
definitely not a like terrible play. It's actually a really tough play.
Yeah, setting up 2-turn lethal is good. I think a lot of the skill in playing Miracle Rogue is not what you do when you find Gadget Sand. Everybody knows how to draw their entire damn deck with like prep and backstab and stuff, right? Like we all know how to do that. But
Yeah.
the thing that we don't know how to do always is play with these very limited resources where we don't draw Gadget Sand.
Oh wow. We had so many lethal outs there actually. It's insane.
Yeah. Second copy of Eviscerate, a couple of Cold Bloods, deadly poison.
Wait, we're dead, right? It's like Leroy, Golem, that's 10, and then 3 on the board. Oh no.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
many options.
Oh no.
kind of a turnaround here from culture. Definitely, you know, I think that Arceus made the right choice earlier to trade his face, trade that molten or mountain giant with his face. But running out of steam here, and now, like you say, faced with prospect of lethal, there's really not much to do.
Yeah.
Welcome to my end.
Righty, so hopefully we're back in here. Having a little issue with the stream, not sure exactly what's going on, so thanks for bearing with us.
Too soon.
The Brotherhood shall prevail. I feel icky.
Let's see if we can get back online here.
Oh, hello.
Hey, still working on it. Still says I'm not streaming. But let's see, the delay will stop or we'll catch up in 2 minutes here. So maybe that's why it says that I switched servers on Twitch. Maybe that'll resolve it. Still shows me it's totally offline. I'm not really sure. I have full internet connectivity. Just clicking the same stream button that I did before. But yeah, just not working for me.
Yeah, it's annoying, man.
Yeah.
I was actually watching Stick Pickle as well, like streaming it in Taxer's Discord.
Ah,
That's how I started spectating him.
yeah, it looks like Derp maybe was trying to do something similar.
Like, you streamed on Discord or nah?
Oh, yeah, I could actually try streaming it in the server. Um,
Oh, no, that's a bad idea.
oh,
Nice
yeah,
stream.
because there'd be no delay. Yeah. Yeah, I can't do that. I don't think I can set a delay in the server either. Right?
Yeah, adopt it.
Okay, well, the delay ends in 40 seconds. We'll see if that rectifies things. Otherwise, I'm going to have to start Googling some stuff. Let's see, stream information. Okay. Yeah, so weird. It says stream is live.
There is little time.
Pay attention, class.
Twitch says I'm not online.
It's a lot of good draws. One episode's Rhinos in deck, running space out here.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, jeez. Oh, my God.
Up stuff. Right when you need them.
Yeah.
So pretty much only bad hits the 1-1. It's even face is okay here. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not bad.
Yeah. And I think we might
Cunning
actually,
6 here.
I think we might actually be back online here.
I see.
Excellent. Okay.
Hey, reckon you hex the Karen if you hex there.
Yeah, too bad we can't see Alfredo's hand. See if he's got that. See if he's got the hex in hand. So, got a couple viewers joining us again. So sorry about that. I'm a boomer. I don't know how this whole streaming thing works, but rebooting my computer apparently fixed the issue. So, again, apologies for dropping the stream there for a second. And we'll get all of our overlays and everything set up here. Alright, so we're dropping in on Sticky Pickle against Alfredo Maya.
So, who won the match versus the Arceus versus, what was it, Culture?
Good question. Let's take a look. So yeah, apologies for dropping out of that last one. It does look like Culture was able to take that 3-2, able to defeat Miracle Rogue with Mildred. So we've got our last couple matches here before we reach the semifinals. So Sticky Pickle able to take that game off of Alfredo Maya with Druid against Shaman again. Seen a lot of that. Druid success against Shaman.
Did you see what happened there in the end?
I did not.
So Sticky played the top deck card when the Arden fell.
Oh, jeez.
Like just to get it to his head a bit.
Jeez. Always feels bad when your opponent quote-unquote top decks lethal, even if they already had it in hand. So let's see, that might be the end of this match. I apologize, still catching up. So yeah, it looks like Sticky Pickle victorious there in round 3. And we got a couple other matches here. Mortimer and QWERJJJ. Neither of whom are on my friends list, so we're going to be dropping back in on Severe and Culture again. Looks like they're still waiting to start that match off. While we're waiting, I suppose we can take a little quick peek at the bracket here. Let's get that camera fixed. Okay, so taking a look at the bracket, we've got Sticky Pickle advancing to the semifinals along with Khan. They'll meet each other in that top bracket. Down here in the lower bracket, we have QWRJJJ facing Mortimer, and Severe against Culture as well. Mortimer up 2-0. Now, unfortunately, neither of these two players have added me on Battle.net, so I'm unable to observe their game. A quick reminder to everybody, if you're tuning in and you're competing today, please add me on there so we can get your games on the stream. Otherwise, we have Severe and Culture, who will be starting hopefully shortly here as well.
So what decks are they queuing up? What is Severe playing? I haven't seen a Severe game, I don't think.
Good question. Good question. Let me pop those up here on the screen so everybody can take a look. So we've already seen a little bit of Culture's decks. Let's get Severe's decks up here. Take a quick peek. Oops, that doesn't work. Perfect. Okay. So Severe bringing Druid, kind of a conventional combo Druid here, and Warlock with Crazed Alchemist, hoping that he doesn't run into Freeze Mage, I guess, a little bit scared of that Doomsayer. Also got this Rogue with a copy of Sen'jin in it as well. A little bit off meta, but mostly regular other than that. And Control Warrior. So surprisingly conventional lineup out of Severe, who sometimes brings slightly less conventional decks to these tournaments. And it doesn't look like their match has started yet. Still waiting on that. And let's see if we can, we'll pop open Cultures lists as well, because those are very interesting. I'd like to take a look at these. So we've got this Warlock deck, pretty standard hand lock, although it does have Arcane Golem, two Faceless, 2 Power Overwhelming, so a little bit more combo oriented. He's got this, I don't know what we call it. It's a mage deck. Sort of a hybrid freeze tempo mage, but also running cards that you don't traditionally see in mage, like Karen Sylvanas Black Knight, for some removal board control kind of stuff. Also bringing this Mill Druid as well as a Control Paladin. So really quite a diverse lineup here out of Culture.
Yeah. I'm expecting probably a Druid ban for Culture.
Yeah, let's pop it open.
I mean, Rogue.
Yeah, thinking of what would Culture want to ban that would be scary for him.
Because you lose versus, like with Mildred, you lose versus combo Druids. With Control Pally, you lose versus combo Druid. With Handlock, I would say combo Druid slightly favor that matchup.
I think so too, yeah.
No, this is a Druid without Black Knight though, so that helps a bit.
Right, yeah, I think that might be one of the key cards. Not only that, but has, if we take a look here, not only has Black Knight in, or has Black Knight over here in, the Mage deck, so it can help with Druid. I don't know really how to evaluate this Mage's matchups.
Versus Druid, I think it's like 50-50.
Yeah, yeah, Mage traditionally pretty decent against Druid here.
Rogue ban is also reasonable, but I think Handlock beats Rogue. That Mage deck seems to be very okay against Rogue.
Right.
But then Control Pally and Mildred's a little rough versus Rogue.
Right.
So, guessing a Druid ban, but Rogue ban also reasonable.
Right. Hopefully we'll see those players start shortly there. Pop open the bracket so we can take one more look at that as well. So we've got our first semifinalists in Sticky Pickle and Con here, waiting for the conclusion of Mortimer and QWER JJJ, as well as Severe and Culture to start here. It doesn't look like they're started yet. Unless I'm way behind on the bracket, which is certainly possible. I'll pop open those deck lists again. Here, taking a look at Culture's lists. Ogle this Mage deck. There is a Alexstrasza here at the bottom that we can't see. That's the last card in the deck. But yeah, Mildred, maybe tell me a little bit about Mildred HDA, because this is a deck that's kind of been making a little bit of a comeback. Or I don't know if you would call it necessarily a comeback, but it's a deck that's started to become more and more popular. Why do you think that is?
I mean, the deck is. I mean, it's actually insane, right? You have like 20 gazillion ways to clear the enemy board. Just clear, 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 then you heal up, and then you just win the fatigue game.
Yeah,
I mean, on paper, deck is actually really good. And then you have Think Master, and this card is like the best card in the deck because like you don't play minions really, right? Like you sit back, clear, clear, clear. They play Think Master, and holy hell, man!
yeah,
Like that Think Master can single-handedly win you games.
yeah, definitely. We saw it, well, not in this deck, but we saw it a little earlier, turning a Savannah Highmane into a 1/1. That's about as good as you can get. It's even better than Hex in the sense that you're getting a 3/3 minion on the board as well. So, yeah, Tinkmaster really strong. Also running a copy of Ancient Brewmaster. Not just the 2 youthful Brewmasters to bounce, but also an Ancient Brewmaster as well.
Yeah, I remember like KQL is the one who plays Mildred the most on ladder, and I remember him like during a period he was testing double Brewmaster like Ancient. It's certainly better against like the slower decks, obviously.
Right.
And bringing one is definitely makes a lot of sense, I think. I just think it's a 5/4 body is less solid. You can like return a lore or something, prevent lethal. You can return a big game hunter in certain matchups. Like it's just like you should with tempo, but you can get like small value from it as well. It's just good card.
Yeah. Well, with enough battle cries here, also the Cold Light, able to draw them a bunch of cards. A lot of different choices. So it looks like we're going to postpone Culture against Severe here. Severe's having some PC issues. So we're going to hop right into the semifinals. One of the semifinals matches here between Khan and Sticky Pickle. So we'll get that going right now. Bring up some of those deck lists as well. We'll take a look at the bracket. I'll bring up those deck lists from those players. Okay, so Khan here, opting to bring this very aggressive chargy Warlock deck with Bluegills, with Wolf Riders, with Arcane Golems, Leroy. A lot of face damage there. Also got a relatively conventional combo Druid here, opting for an MCT as one of the tech cards, maybe expecting a lot of aggro or flood decks. Also got a Control Warrior, looks like a very standard list here, maybe with the exception of Tinkmaster, which we don't always see, and Faceless Manipulator. And then last but not least, this very strange foreign Miracle Rogue deck that is so uncommon in our tournaments.
Well, one thing about this Warlock deck, I see Khan plays this a lot on ladder, and he's usually in the top 10, so definitely very experienced with the deck.
Yeah. And taking a look at Sticky Pickle's list, we've got Handlock here. Nothing too special about that other than that we've got 2 Power Overwhelmings and Arcane Golem, so 2 chances at a combo here. Just 1 copy of Faceless, but Leroy Arcane double PO, so maybe a little bit faster finish. His Druid deck is a very standard combo Druid, nothing all that special here except for the Violet Teacher and the Claw, so a little bit more board control against aggressive decks. Standard Miracle Rogue, and pretty, I guess you could say a standard Giants Mage list. There aren't too many differences in here except for this one little guy, Nat Pagel, in the Mage list, snuck his way in there. So we'll see how that goes. That'd be kind of a cool card to see. I'm not sure what the purpose of Nat Pagel is in this Mage deck. Maybe you can help me understand it.
I mean, to be honest, there's a little anti-synergy with Multi-Knight as well, right? You kind of want them to hit your face there, your minion, but
Right.
honestly, maybe the card is still slept on. I mean, it's a 2-minute card, it takes 4 damage, it heals you 4 HP basically.
Right.
That's the potential, I mean, to draw a card or 2, I mean. You could technically do something crazy, right? I feel like that's Pagel Nova, I mean, who knows what we'll see, I mean.
Yeah.
We could see some crazy that's Pagel plays come up.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, like 4 HP, can be decent. But like you said, it is a little bit anti-synergistic with generally the plan that this mage deck has of just dropping a bunch of giants and getting down to 1 HP, having the block popped, playing double molten giant, Alex draws a right back up or a second block in there, and that Pickle might get us, one turn not as close to that goal. Do have mountain giants there though as well, so maybe hoping to just save those giants for a little bit later in the game when they're going to be more impactful, and just try and get the big mountain giants out there earlier. And it looks like the players are still getting through their bans and everything, all that important
We
stuff.
still get a big hunter in the deck as well, which is not too common.
Yeah, and it can kind of. I'm not anticipating it gets too much in the way here, but Big Game Hunter, while we're running Alexstrasza and 2 sets of giants ourselves, hoping that we don't have a turn where we really want to play Big Game Hunter but can't because we have giants on the board of our own. I don't anticipate that situation, happening most of the time. Big Game Hunter, we wouldn't want to play it on the board anyway, unless we were going to kill something of our opponents. But it's maybe a minor consideration to take into account here.
Yeah, definitely. It's also like a solid card, honestly. The slept on as well, because Ragnaros really is a problem for Freeze Giant Mage.
Yeah.
And Big Hunter is gonna help you with that problem. So
Yeah.
it's definitely the main reason to play the card is Ragnaros. If you don't have a clear answer to that card, you can also play like 1 polymorph, but it's not quite as efficient.
Yeah. Anytime there's no poly in the deck, we really start to get scared of Ragnaros. It takes potentially 2 premium burn spells like Fireball, Frostbolt in order to clear, and otherwise is coming into play maybe sniping one of our giants, maybe sniping Alex, and just is able to work on a board that's frozen as well, right? We can freeze Ragnaros, he's still going to shoot us. So yeah, I don't mind actually this choice of Big Game Hunter to just target the one card that's really a pain in the ass for some of these slower mage decks like Freeze Mage and Giants Mage. And let's see if we can take a look here at our other player, Sticky Pickle. Let's see if we can.
I mean, Ragnaros also has like a lot of potential value. 8/8, right? So it probably makes more sense from Big Game in this than like regular Freeze Mage.
Right. Now he will have. Giants Mage, I think, is stronger against Warrior than traditional Freeze Mage, but still can have some issues. Warrior's got 2 copies of Execute, and Khan is playing a Control Warrior here, so that could be a little bit tricky. We'll drop in on the games now and see how these players are doing.
Yeah, definitely very interesting. I'm assuming Dicky. Does it ban Warrior or nah?
I'll have to check here in just a moment.
Because you still have Rogue. I mean, Rogue beats Warrior, Druid beats Warrior.
Right.
Handlock. I've heard people say Warrior beats Handlock. I'm not too sure who's actually favoring the matchup though. But it definitely makes sense not to ban Warrior, I think. It's kind of crazy to not ban Warrior, but
Right, I know. When you bring a deck like well, I guess Giants Mage, but it is essentially a Freeze Mage deck. Yeah, it does feel a little bad not to ban out Warrior, just knowing that if you happen, the players can't see ahead of time what their opponent picks. They don't get to choose their deck based upon their opponent's deck choice. So could just end up walking in, unfortunately, to one of those.
man, imagine Sticky as a prep here. You could like point, prep, fan, S-type full clear. Jesus. There's no
Yeah.
prep in hand, sadly.
Yeah, it hurts to burn all of those resources before Gadget's End comes down.
I think in this matchup it's like insanely good.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I would say Merc Rogue is slightly favored in this matchup. You'd think the Brownlock would be like really good to Merc Rogue, but
You know, I've heard
It's
that.
just
I've heard the opposite from a lot of players. I completely agree with you. I feel like Rogue can just systematically deal with the Handlock's threats. If Handlock manages to like coin out two
oh no,
Twilight
not
Drakes or
handlock.
something.
I mean burn luck.
Oh, Oh, yeah, that's right. We're looking at this one. I got confused here with
But
who's playing
yeah, yeah.
what. You're right.
Handlock. Pretty sure handlock beats Mercury generally. It depends if they run double Shadow Flame or not, though. If they don't run double Shadow Flame, maybe it's like 50-50 Rogue favored, but with double Shadow Flame, pretty sure handlocks win the matchup.
Yeah, Handlock. I mean, I feel like if Handlock gets a decent start, then of course they're going to have an easier time. But it is one of those decks that doesn't always draw perfectly consistently. Rogue, of course, not guaranteed to get Gadgets in either. But Handlock, one of the few decks that does have at least an answer to it.
Protects me.
The very interesting is you push 5 to first, essentially pushing 10 in 2 turns. Actually, Leroy should win anyway, so I think visiting the juggler's fine here. Technically, you have lethal out to like second eviscerate if you don't. Something else I'm missing? Can you draw like second eviscerate if you on eviscerate face here?
Yeah. Might just be, single poison whack the knife juggler here, but with this much burn in hand, it really does, feel like we want to get 10 out of the dagger plus 4 from Eviscerate. See if we can just top things up. It looks like he's going to bail and play Eviscerate here.
Huh. Yeah, it's actually an interesting turn.
Well, it looks like both players have opted to ban Druid here as well, so I think Khan probably not feeling too confident in this position about tapping any more than he has to, especially since we're getting a read maybe out of Sticky Pickle that he's got a lot of burn in hand. I would say at least we know that Cold Light is coming down. Or not Cold Light, Cold Blood is probably in hand.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, 6 only for Leroy to kill him. It's like pretty much impossible to kill him with Leroy.
Right.
And it's pretty likely Leroy's just not in the hand. It's not a card you would keep or anything. I definitely think tapping is fine.
Well, we got a lot of burn here. What do we have? 8, 10, 12. 12 in hand plus 2 on the board. We'll see how much
It's until
he wants to commit.
that 14. Yeah, it's a lot of damage.
Yeah. Is he going to send it all? I think the PO on Thalnos here makes a lot of sense to me because, we get a free card.
Yeah.
Right, we don't have to play Arcane, but we could. I think the choice to tap here is a difficult one. It's like we don't want to put ourselves too low. In fact, yeah, because we're dead to...
the board, right?
Yeah, well, we're also dead to Leroy, double Leroy, Cold Blood. If we tap, we're not dead to that. Oh no, we are dead to that anyway, because of the dagger. And Sticky Pickle has now drawn into that Gadget Sand, but I don't think is going to be able to play that, unfortunately. Kind of tragically late there. And Khan able to pick up a little bit more burn here. And able to take game 1 with the Warlock. So this deck's been doing really well today. We haven't actually seen this burn Warlock, I think, in a tournament before. So really cool to see a new deck. Always neat to see how Hearthstone Classic mode continues to evolve as well. So Khan taking game 1 there, up 1-0 in the series. He's still got Warrior and Rogue left to bring. And Sticky Pickle's got his Mage, Rogue, and Warlock yet to win. Alright. Khan opting for the warrior this time, warrior into rogue. This feels a little favored for the rogue, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, yeah, very, very rogue favored. Might just be best counted warrior in the game.
Yeah, and explain that to us a little bit. Why exactly is rogue so weak, or is warrior so weak to rogue?
I mean, you just don't have enough tempo, right? And you can't. It's technically possible to out armor the damage, but generally it's not a game plan you want to go for. And yeah, it just doesn't. I mean, sap gets insane value. You get all the time in the world to draw your cards. You can't out armor them really.
Right.
It just. You can definitely win the warrior if rogue does that. Look like a very dead hand, but so. The warrior might take on this one home. There's no auction here being drawn.
Yeah. Always like the difficulty, of course, playing against or playing with the rogue deck is like, well, if you don't draw your auctioneer, you just kind of don't win the game in a lot of matchups.
Yeah, you need auction in this matchup. But you got so much time to find it. Kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, warrior doesn't have like insane card draw. They have some draw. They have like consistent cycling effects, but they don't have just they don't have like blowout draws like Gadget Zan or Buzzard Unleash or things like that. So they just you know, eventually they just won't be able to keep up in tempo with all the cards that the rogue is able to draw, and also rogue just able to execute their game plan because warrior's a slow deck. Doesn't kill the rogue fast enough to stop the rogue from just drawing everything and, you know, being able to Leroy with cold bloods.
Right, yeah. I was talking about Tuxerbot's matchup. He said it was like 65-35 rogue favor.
Mhm.
Like, warrior can always. Like, rogue can also always lose. Like, you just don't draw the good cards, right?
Yeah.
It's. Like, on paper, rogue is favored in, like, just a ridiculous amount of matchups, but you still need to draw the good cards now.
Well, Khan does have some answers. He's got Tinkmaster in the deck. Technically Brawl and Sylvanas in some cases, like Sylvanas Shield Slam your own Sylvanas can be ways to deal with that stealthed Gadget Zan. But overall, you know, Rogue still has a much more clear-cut game plan. The Warrior, it's a little bit more up to the, you know, what cards you happen to draw.
It gets pretty advanced, but if you know the warrior runs Tinkmaster and you're the rogue, and you see the warriors just sitting there, armor up, armor up, armor up, like every turn, like it's pretty obvious you're gonna Tinkmaster in the hand, right? If they're just not playing minions. So even if you have like Auctioneer Conceal in hand going into like turn 6, like generally you don't want to play it.
Yeah.
Like you drop like a Drake instead or something. Just wait till like turn 8 or something. You can do it to, like draw more.
I was gonna say like in, you know, in the matchup against some of these mid-range hunter decks where they're playing Deadly Shot, I've seen rogue players just wait until turn 8 and then they play Gadgets and Thalnos.
Yeah.
And but in this case though, Pickle's already deployed the Thalnos. It's already off the board. He tried to cycle that looking for Gadgets and, which I think is probably correct. But all the same, it's one less tool that he has to deal with that Tinkmaster if he does draw Gadgets and. Speak of the devil.
I got the best deals anywhere.
And gets his second one as well. So even if there were a Tinkmaster to come off the top here, still feeling okay about this. Rep 2. Oh, fan or eviscerate here? I think I'd almost be tempted to play the eviscerate just because we've got so much damage on board. We're so close to killing the warrior.
Oh, looks like good card popped up.
Well, is there ever a situation in which you slam your own Karen here looking for the Tinkmaster? It's only a 1 in 17 chance to draw it, which isn't great odds, but, you know, you can coin Faceless your own Karen and it looks pretty, but I don't think it's really going to do the trick here.
Yeah, okay. I like the way you think. Maybe that's the play, yeah.
Sure. Sure, just
1 in 17 into the 1 in 3 snipe.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah, not exactly the odds you want to be looking at in a tournament situation. All right, so that's 17, plus we got another 6, that's 23 total. And he's got the Eviscerate in hand, should be able to finish it off here. Alright, so series tied 1-1, Sticky Pickle able to pick a win up with his Rogue against Khan's Warrior. And we'll see what they choose next. So Sticky Pickle has still got his Mage deck and Handlock left. Khan's still got Control Warrior and Miracle Rogue. So as Khan here, do you feel like you want to bring Warrior again, hoping for Mage?
Not sure.
It's tricky because I feel like Handlock feels pretty favored against Warrior. There's just too many big minions, not enough removal to take them down. Warrior can get easily overwhelmed by Handlock. At the same time, Warrior quite good against Freeze
It's.
Mage as well.
I think. I mean, the Warrior vs Handlock match is very interesting. But it's also like, if Warrior draws Shield Block, you do the Shield Block Shield Slam combo, it's usually Warrior wins the matchup. It's. I think it's Warrior favored, but it's a pretty close. It's a very close matchup.
Yeah, it's interesting. I guess we don't, at least in NA, we don't see too many Handlock players in general, so it's kind of hard to, have too much experience with the matchup. Not so many people playing it. It can be weak to a lot of the burn decks that we see from NA players, where they just have ways to get around those big taunts with like kill commands and stuff like that.
Yeah. It also depends to Handlock runs Jiraxis, but usually they don't. But if they're on Jiraxis, they should definitely favor Warrior.
Yeah, I would definitely say that as well. Yeah, the Jiraxis, just the infinite value machine, Warriors can't deal with that. And here, Rogue into Handlock. We see that Sticky Pickle is sitting on this Mountain Giant up here, which is always a good sign. Might choose to play the Senjin, followed by like tap Mountain Giant. That's also a possibility. But I think for Handlock, it's really essential to start dropping Mountain Giants and Twilight Drakes as soon as possible. Make the Rogue sap them on turns where they don't have any other choice other than like dagger up and sap, a really weak turn. And here comes the first sap.
Yeah, I don't see the other play.
Yeah.
You don't want to. You can't really coin Drake. You want to burn the coin. This can't really do much.
Right, but now we got to deal with not just the Mountain Giant, but it's going to be taunted up this time by the Sun Fury, I presume. Maybe going to put Thalnos down instead. Looking to just cycle a little bit. And Khan only playing one copy of Sap in this deck. Playing 2 copies of Drake, 1 copy of Sap. So, going to be a little bit tricky for him to deal with this.
Yeah, I might need like double Deadly Blade Fury to deal with later on, but.
Yeah, I mean, we could draw a prep off the top with Drake. And Drake prep Eviscerate, coin Deadly Poison does technically clear the Giant. We'll see if he opts that. It'll burn through a lot of stuff, and we only have a 2 in 19 chance of drawing Preparation this turn, so not great odds with the Drake, but still probably something we just got to throw out there. A lot of options, though.
It's tough match, Merkurog. Yeah. I think 3-drop's pretty good in the matchup. You drop like a 3-drop onto Soul 5, which is like 6 damage before the 4-drop comes down.
Right.
Maybe keep 3-drop the matchup. If you're on coin, it doesn't really work. Off coin, I think it makes way more sense.
Well, he's really going for it here. Khan going for the Leroy Shadow Step play. It's going to get some bad news here when the, yeah, not just the Senjin coming down, but we also have Sun Fury as well in hand.
Mm,
Interesting. Choosing to ping off his own guy.
Shields up.
And that's a lot of taunt. Yeah, and I like this play, playing PO here on the Thalnos. Recognizes he doesn't really have combo pieces in hand to use that, so making the best out of it right now.
well, opponent kind needs to blade sword curious border on subs, right? So
Yeah,
keeping the 1/1s doesn't really make sense.
does have close to a full clear here. Eviscerate Blade Flurry at least clears the giant. We'll be left with a 1/1 Ancient Watcher after this flurry.
Oh yeah, it is for nuts actually.
And if Thalnos is able to trade, and we saw the one copy of Mortal Coil already come out, so Thalnos might actually get a little trade in here. Still have Senjin in hand though, so that'll stop Leroy. We know, you know, Sticky Pickle knows for a fact that there's a 2-mana Leroy sitting in hand.
Huh. Hmm.
I wonder-
Probably heal minion.
I think he's feeling fairly safe with the Flurry and one copy of Eviscerate already gone. That healing face is not fully necessary here. And understanding that if with no AoE left, it's going to be hard for Khan to clear both of these taunts at once. So healing, I think there is the correct choice on the Ancient Watcher.
Oh man, the double spell damage was just no spell.
It's so sad, isn't it? And it's like, even if we... Oh, he's going to go for the Gadget Zan here. Feeling like he's needing to draw some spells and doesn't find one. Finding all of the minions here. Got double SI in hand. Okay, there's a prep, but...
It's not a tough pick, yeah.
Yeah, need to draw something off the top here. That's a spell. Backstab.
That is a spell, you know, that is
yeah.
a spell.
It is a spell. A little awkward spell. Okay, doesn't manage to find what he's wanting here. Now, is there a consideration to Shadow Step the Gadget's hand back? I guess he's gonna save the Shadow Step for the Leroy. Wants to burn through these taunts, and Leroy Shadow Steps exactly 12.
Not sure. I don't know. Probably doesn't make sense with it.
Well, Shadow Flame's a pretty easy clear here. We'll see if that's the play. Not too many other choices in this situation. I suppose we could use Arcane Golem and use that to clear. Like Arcane Golem, Smash Face, and Shadow Flame the Arcane Golem. Just keeping these taunts healthy again, with only one Eviscerate left in the deck and no AoE other than a single Fan of Knives, which isn't really... I wouldn't qualify that as AoE at this point in the game. I think Sticky Pickle is probably trying as hard as he can to maintain these taunts. Okay, and he's going to blow up his own taunt. Probably eyeing that Arcane Golem plus PO combination here. That's 8 damage represented. With the 6 on the board, that'll be 14. That's enough to kill Khan.
No, the rogue doesn't have spells. It's not prep backstab, so
Yeah. Yeah, what do you...
maybe he's pretty confident to spot with stick here.
Yeah, I mean, the only play really is Azure Drake, I would think. I mean, you could try Gadgets and Shadow Step. or SI Shadow Step, but that's not... SI Shadow Step doesn't clear. Really feels bad to be playing Leroy here. That's kind of the win condition at this point. But if we don't draw what we need with Drake, if we don't hit that one Eviscerate, then... or Backstab, I guess. Then losing. So 1 in 6 chance to draw something relevant with the Azure Drake here. Cold Blood is not it.
The Brotherhood shall come.
Alright, well, from the speed of his play, it looks like Sticky Pickle has figured out how to deal lethal damage here. Gets that PO on the Arcane Golem. And pulls ahead in the series, 2-1. So a win for the
yeah,
Warlock.
he actually won without trying multi-dance as well.
Yeah, really impressive. And seeing the power here of Arcane Golem in this list as well. I really like this inclusion, having 2 chances rather than 1 chance to draw our Charger into a combo. Just makes the deck run a lot more smoothly. I think it sets up a lot more counter threats. So Khan gonna play Rogue again into Sticky Pickle's Mage. Now at this point, he's gotta win with 2 decks, so it doesn't really matter. But I would think that against Freeze Mage, maybe we would want to play Warrior first, just cause it's a generally favored matchup for Warrior.
Get a win, get some momentum.
Right. But given that he has to win 2 games, I suppose I can't fault him for picking any deck here. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't, yeah. I personally like to get the easy win out of the way first for momentum, but it's all personal preference, right?
Yeah, I'm of the same line of thought as well. It's like, if you feel like you've got a favored matchup, take the favored matchup first. Set it up to be a position where it's 2-2. Your opponent's going to feel a lot more pressure if they're playing a game where the series is tied up than if they're up 2-1.
Well, so normal freeze mage would probably be the biggest counter to Merc Rogue in the game, but this isn't a normal freeze mage, so it should be very winnable for Khan.
Yeah, I think so. If Sticky Pickle is able to get up to 9 mana, is able to get the block popped, play both the Molten Giants, and then play Alex to heal up, can be a different situation. Or play both the Giants and then play a block and then play Alex. And I like this choice here, to play Edwin on the board. Some players with Rogue are a little bit scared to use their coin because, it's essentially a free draw with Gadget Zan. But in this situation, we already kind of lined up to play Azure Drake next turn. We don't have Gadget Zan in hand. I think this is a wise choice.
Yeah. We can't clear like Doomsayer Image, Doomsayer Nova, but it probably makes sense. Need some tempo here.
Yeah. No, you're right. There is a copy of Mirror Image in the deck, so that can make it really tough to deal with the Doomsayer if we don't have Blade Flurry in hand, which we don't. And just gonna see a 5-mana Molten Giant come down. Ooh.
Oh, but if it's straight to 6 and then Blood Mage,
Right.
that's only 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a Drake though, right?
It just seems like it's got to be the play.
Yeah, like it. In a tournament, you gotta triple check your plays, though, like 4 times check and like make sure there's no like big misplay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Like, especially with open deck lists, you can sit there for your whole turn and look at exactly what they've got in their deck, what you're expecting them to play, what could possibly answer the things that you're playing against. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now with a frozen board, this is a little bit tricky. We see another Blizzard in hand for Sticky Pickle. Is this
we're
the Gadget
definitely
Zan turn?
we're really scared of Flame Strike, but I can't. What's the other play? I mean, like double deadly, like deadly Vistic Giant.
Many options.
It's possible to play just Fan and Dagger, maybe, but we're going down to 12 next turn. And that's kind of a scary place to be. The line I'm kind of imagining here is like, you know,
Whoa.
Fan Dagger. It might play, yeah, sure, Leroy Prep Fan, maybe? We'll see if he eviscerates face, too.
Oh really?
Ooh, now that's a draw.
It is a really hard turn, but
Oh. Yeah.
I mean, no opponents like playing strikes, and then what? Like this, yeah.
I don't mind this play too much. I mean, losing the Leroy sucks. We don't have Shadow Steps in hand, so that hurts. And is he gonna do? Yeah, do Deadly Poison. Let's get 2 draws in there.
Well, we need a minion to stick to play the Cold Bloods. Maybe we can make it happen.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of removal already used. That's 2 Blizzards already out of the way. Only left with 1 Frostbolt, 1 Ice Lance, 2 Fireballs left. So yeah, maybe not the worst.
Wait, actually, that's not a clear to Sectioneer. That's it.
Yeah. Oh. Just kidding.
No.
Just kidding. Man,
Maybe the Lyra play was actually good then. I mean, he actually didn't have a clear.
yeah.
He just stopped exits. Disaster. Oh, technically that's not clear to this one, I suppose.
Don't speak too soon. And I'm not, you know, knowing that Leroy is out of the, is gone right now, I think it might have been okay for Sticky Pickle to play Nat Pagel on the last turn, instead of developing the ice block.
I think he played that combo a little fast. I think he forgot about the big game, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy
But
coming
hold
in
up, so you
clutch.
do keep proc here? Do you have enough mana? So that's 2, 4, 6. You can't proc here, right?
Yeah, we
You
only have
can.
16, don't we?
I
Oh, no, we
Yeah,
do.
but you step the SI, right? You can
Yeah.
actually proc here.
So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we have enough mana to do it. Even 1 left over.
Yeah, does he see it? He probably sees it. Looks like he's doing a lot of counting.
Yeah.
Like we talked about, you gotta triple check this stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe
Oh.
it doesn't see it.
Just gonna backstab first.
Proc here is so good because opponent needs all extras, so otherwise we kinda win the game. Also, like Ice Barrier technically can't kill him.
Yeah, it's like Ice Barrier. I mean, there are a couple of cards that do okay. Ice Barrier, Ice Block, Vaporize, Alex are all decent here. But, you know, this mage deck doesn't play a ton of card draw, right? So we want to, you know, try and push that stuff as early as possible. And before they have a chance to just naturally draw into their solutions.
It's sort of like the mage has like Flame Strike here, right, to clear.
Yeah.
Maybe just didn't see it.
Yeah,
It took
it's
me a while to
deceptive.
see it.
Yeah, it's really deceptive because it just doesn't look like a hand that has that much burst. But with the double deadly poison on the
Yeah,
dagger,
yeah.
right, that is 10 damage with flurry.
That's what I've been told. Like when you play Miracle Rogue, like you have the most ridiculous amount of burst. Like you gotta check your damage like every turn.
Yeah, and out of nowhere, right? Just like, you know, random evis,
Yeah.
random flurry, shadow step. And at this point in the game too, like shadow stepping the SI, we don't have Leroy anymore, so shadow stepping the SI makes a lot of sense.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, can we proc? No, we only have 14 at the moment. No, we can still step the SI if he goes over here. So we can still proc. Can we sap as well? Yeah, we can, right?
Absolutely. And Conceal, not a bad card to pick up here either.
Oh wow. Yeah, definitely not. Looking pretty good actually now.
Yeah, there is a second block in Sticky Pickle's hand. So that makes things a little bit trickier here, but he's not going to have two giants on the board. He's only going to have that Molten Giant on there. And at 22 HP, we're kind of safe. Oh,
I guess he's not going for it.
yeah, interesting choice.
I mean, you definitely want more both on base there, ideally, but the way I play versus Mage, if I can proc the Ice Block, I proc the Ice Block. That's just how I
Totally,
play it.
totally. I think maybe the concern here is the Molten Giant. That he just doesn't want to see double
Yeah.
Molten, but
Right. But
you
he
know
still
that
needs yeah, he would lose that. But there's no Sound Fury, so we need like Alex Frost Ice Block as well.
yeah, I feel like you're gonna have to pop the block eventually. You may not have an answer right now to Molten Giant, but you're never gonna have an answer to Molten Giant. Now with your face frozen, there's no more chance to pop this block. And even gonna Doomsayer off his own Tony and Nat Pagel.
Yeah. I mean, you can definitely see that Rogue is like people that say like Rogue, no skill, Auctioneer, Casino. But you can definitely see that there are difficult plays. I mean, like there's some really difficult plays for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And we're already through our two auctioneers. At this point, we're dealing with very limited resources. Only 4 cards left in the deck. None of them particularly useful. It's a Drake, a SI, a Conceal, and a Backstab. No, I think we still have the opportunity to pop the block here, right? We can swing with SI, Shadow Step the SI.
Technically you can, but it's really bad to do it this time. Because the thing is, we've given your opponent like so much time to draw the Moltens now.
Yeah,
Like, imagine proc like 4 or 5 turns to go, like,
yeah,
it's way less likely as the Moltens.
yeah. And now, unfortunately, not getting to use the second charge of that dagger as well for this Blade Flurry. Oh wow, is he gonna?
Oh yeah, this plays better, probably. Does he have enough time? I don't think he has enough time!
Oh no, he wants to.
He's roping it, he ropes
Did
it,
he
right?
manage to get it off?
This guy's tough.
They always manage to get it off.
Well, he
No, he
he
doesn't.
didn't pop the block with the second Shadow Step there.
Oh no, oh
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, that Shadow Step animation is a royal pain in the ass for sure.
It is, yeah.
And I think that Sticky Pickle feeling pretty confident here with a second block in hand. 2 fireballs, got us 2 Moltens on the board. And I think we're going to end up Shadow Stepping our own Earthen Ring here to hope to stay alive.
Then we don't kill him through Ice Barrier. I guess that support doesn't stick anyway. Yeah. No, it doesn't make sense. You get a backstab double trade, right?
Well, we know, yeah, I mean, I guess you can take down one of the giants. Technically, we'll stay alive. Oh, no, we don't. Not against 2 fireballs. That
Yeah,
said, I think we only know that 1 fireball is in hand from Tony. So this fireball here was not generated by Antonidas, meaning that Khan doesn't know that there are 12 points of burn from hand. So he might just try Shadow Stepping the Earthen Ring here. I'm going to eliminate the giant. And that's still going to be lethal damage. Even more lethaler damage now with the Frostbolt. Alright, and a really tough matchup there.
It's hard to play it. I mean, you're playing against multi-giants, you're playing against Alex Strauss, you're playing against Vaporize. Like, you got so much to think about. You probably
Yeah.
just like,
And in the meantime,
overwhelmed
yeah,
by-
Mountain Giants with 1 sap deck, right? Is you can only sap Mountain Giant once, and otherwise, yeah, difficult with the tempo there. So, we
and
see
then a lot of pressure being in the semifinals and all that.
definitely.